Okay. Am I live? Okay. I'm supposedly streaming. I have to take a shit really badly, so I'll hold it for 4 hours like a healthy person does. Let's see, am I live? Does YouTube say I am live? YouTube does say I am live. Wonderful. Wunderbar.
Am I live?
Okay. I'm supposedly and you can hear me talking. Shit. Fuck. Really bad. Okay, so audio seems to be good. If there is any crackling, I apologize. I have a new mic. If you hear like a fucking white noise in the background, that's my fan. Right. I paid an extra $30 for this mic compared to the previous one, and yet we have zero improvement when it comes to the audio quality. Oh, Crystal Pirate. Look at that. A true Viggy Fammer. Hopped on hopped on immediately. Hi, that was a weird intro. No you. There you go. Now that I've won that argument and completely destroyed your ego, let's draw. Oh yeah, draw along, everybody draw along. And I just want, dude, it's been a month. I'm such a fucking piece of shit. I'm a goddamn liar, right? Some poor guy on my stream or on my video commented being like, "Oh, I like your content. When do you stream?" I'm like, "Oh, my streaming is extremely irregular, but I'm gonna try for tomorrow." Right? Never happened. That was 3 weeks ago. So let's draw. Let's figure out what I want to do. I still don't know what the hell I want to make here, right? This is clearly some sort of medieval fantasy type sheet, as the youngins say, right? So, oh yeah, this is a new. Oh no, this is a fucking great pen. I was wondering what I was supposed to say. God damn it! I'd say already made a mistake. Already completely. It's over. Some might even say I'm over. All right, we'll be on the news for a young 28-year-old man who was found hanging from a pull-up bar because he was so frustrated at his inability to make good lines. Relatively compelling story. I don't know. Okay, let's see. These are wood textures, right? These are wood textures. They're not wood textures. I mean, I know a very specific type of wood texture, but it's particular to my biology. That was a pretty funny joke. Actually, that was really clever. I'm proud of myself. I don't know how I didn't finish that little container thing. Right. I thought that was some weird ass fish wizard ogre thing. What? What are you talking about? Which was a fish ass ogre thing? You must be clear as to what you are trying to say. Dude, my hands are. Look at this. I don't know if anybody can see, but my fingers are so shaky. I'm taking a break from recording, so I actually haven't done my actual practice in a couple of weeks now, right? Because the portrait videos are finally going out. So anybody, you guys are all aware, like I'm doing portraits now. Wonderful. That context is cleared, right, in the part 4 of the portrait video, but I'm just taking a break literally just because I want to, and because I was no. The reason is, if we're going to be completely honest, transparent, and be authentic as a YouTuber, is I was smoking way too much weed, so I needed my mind to clear up a little bit. And I struggle. I struggle a lot with addictions. I struggle a lot with dick in general. So, anyways, Ayo, what did you say Ayo to? I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. Let me unmute myself on my stream. Smoking way too much weed, so I need my mind to clear up. Nope. See, that's still pretty accurate. I'm talking about my addiction. But I don't know. I have no idea what I say, to be honest. It's just in one ear, out another. My own ear, evidently. I don't listen to a word I say. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Because honestly, I just want to. I don't care how long this takes. I'm gonna be here. And I meant the only thing with eyes and beard on the right. That looked like an ogre thing or some weird ass fish wizard. Yeah, I mean, clearly I don't understand portraiture, right? But at least he does look like he's something, you know? What's missing? What's making him look like an ogre thing? Probably because I haven't outlined this enough, right? Maybe that doesn't look like his face, right? Maybe we haven't really established that this is a human being or this is something that, has structure, is a face, right? So that's, see, I fucked that line up. That was a complete fuck up. And it probably fucked up the drawing too, but at least this guy. Um, And this is like also what I want to mention. Like this is also unconfident lines. You see, because I don't know really where the form is for this beard, or like because I've never drawn beards, I've never thought about them from a three-dimensional point of view, right? That my decision making is subpar, right? Maybe this clears it up. Maybe this clears it up. Very big maybe, but maybe it does, right? Maybe if I add some uh, shadows in the back, right? Maybe that this actually outlines his face a lot more. Maybe. Genuinely looks like a third eye. probably the face and the body shape. Yeah, what this? Exactly, exactly. See, I don't understand. This was like my attempt at trying to outline or identify the brow ridge, and this is supposed to be hair, right? This is literally supposed to be his hair sticking out of the hat. Um, you can maybe kind of see what I was trying to do. But you know what? We'll go with your definition, Crystal. We'll literally just go with your definition because that is called storytelling, right? But I'm trying to think, right? Where is... Okay, 'cause clearly that's the ground plane. Horizon line is actually... It's above here. Yeah, horizon lines, everything's going that way. So, it's hard to see all this. That's hair? Yeah, I know, right? This is... I'm not infallible. Turns out I too can make mistakes over and over and over and over and over and over. But that's how we learn, right? Let's see. Maybe I want to. Okay, I need to establish because it's been so long since I've drawn this. I literally don't even know where anything is perspective wise. So we have the ground plane. It's gonna probably go back there. Maybe we can make this because this is his head's turning. Okay, we can make this the horizon line, I guess. Like horizon line is pretty far up, right? Oh, I love storytelling. It's one of my hobbies. That's awesome. Thank you. You are creating the the tale that I never could, right? But okay, dude, like what should I add? That's my biggest thing is I don't know what the fuck to add, right? It's a huge it's just because I'm what I wanted to do is I wanted to have them by a campfire, right? By a campfire. Maybe he's warming up what this monstrosity is. What is this supposed to be? Like a fucking hot dog or a pickle? Yeah, it was supposed to be a pickle. Uh, that's one of my previous fans had requested that I turn this into a pickle. Again, Crystal Pirate, please do not have such a overt reaction to this being a pickle, right? Oh, it's not a pickle, it looks like shit. I know, I'm well aware it looks like shit. All right. Or maybe have all the reactions. Tell your friends, have them hop on the stream, right? How many viewers do I have? Because that's all I give a shit about, right? 4 watching? Why are 4 people watching? Hey Osain, I thought you were supposed to be doing something busy because you commented on one of my videos saying you're supposed to be doing something busy. Fuck off. And please do that thing you're supposed to be busy at. Trees at the background, a friend. Okay, trees it is, but yeah, please fuck off. Get the fuck off this video. Go do that thing you're supposed to be doing because you were busy because you commented on my video. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. I know you're already reacting in a particular way because I assume you're like that type of person. But it looks like a cactus. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so trees in the background to establish the horizon line would not be bad. You know, I want to create such a stupid fucking story. I I want him to just be warming his hands on something that makes no sense and just have like a path here. But I've already established something else. So, okay, so if I need trees in the background, see, scale is extremely difficult. Scale is extremely difficult. So if we want trees, how far should they be, right? This is supposedly, from what my understanding is, the horizon line I've set. This is extremely difficult, right? This is why I kept saying in my fucking video, drawing is thinking, right? A video for beginner artists, right? My magnum opus. But if that's what it is, then see, that's the ellipse. That's a plane in the ellipse. How big do I want this tree? Well, okay, we can maybe create roots. Or everybody has roots. Everybody needs roots. Is this thing dying? How fucking dare this thing die? This pen cannot be dying. I've barely started to use it. Okay, and that's the ground plane. So why is my voice so nasally? I do not know. I'm trying to do something interesting. I feel as if I'm not succeeding. It looks like a cactus. If you want to heat up his hands in a nonsensical way, how about a meteor in front of him? Oh, that works. That's perfect. That's actually great. Thank you. I don't know when I'm gonna get to that because clearly drawing this fucking tree is gonna take me forever. But I will take that advice. Thank you. That's pretty good. Again, I don't know how to draw a tree, by the way. I have no idea how to draw a tree. But we're going to try to think about maybe this looks more like a vine rather than roots. And that's okay, because these mistakes are part of the process, right? This is like a fucking retarded tree. Yeah, there you go. It's a tree with a few missing chromosomes. Let's see. And maybe actually we can have, again, to establish scale, right? There you go. Maybe it's like connected to this. Compositionally speaking, it doesn't really make much sense. I love root beer. Trees are basically lumpy circles, NGL. I agree. I agree. Right. Before I started working out, I was also a lumpy circle. That's a lie. I was actually very skinny. But I wanted to say something relatively interesting. And that is the problem. I wanted to say something. Okay, so let's. See, again, like compositionally speaking, because I know what that word means, of course, because I've studied composition for decades. I don't believe this really makes much sense, but obviously I'm not gonna stop because of that, right? There's obviously a million things that are clearly wrong with the perspective, but we're just gonna keep going. Dude, that's a Dr. Seuss tree, basically, right? We'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. There's this. The expectation I have is just that I'm gonna try, and I'm going to try to make sense of all of this. Okay, whatever. Fucking Dr. Seuss tree, right? It's the roots are very thick. They're laid out into the ground. And again, I'm trying to establish that horizon line. Right, we'll just have some grass here, some grass there. It's okay. It's okay. I feel as if definitely a lot could be better because again, I don't really know how to compose, right? I genuinely don't really know how to compose. Compose? What the fuck? Compose a sequence. Oh, by the way, Crystal, I do hope that you decide to draw along. That would be really nice, right? Because it would make me happy, and you care about my happiness, do you not? But okay, see, so I'm trying to make it so it's kind of come. This one's coming out here. Right, but the thing is like white space, negative. Yo, random idea. What about a Mothman flying in the night? Yeah, I can try that out too. I mean, you're giving great ideas. I appreciate it, but it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of time to try to figure this out. Maybe we can establish something like this, right? Again, I don't know if that really thinking about the grass and stuff because I do still obviously want to consider the ground plane. I feel as if I'm already kind of losing it, which is, that's just what it is. I'm not gonna complain about it. I will simply just lose the ground plane and I will try to correct losing that ground plane and then I'll lose it again. I'll try to correct losing it again, right? And for some added scale, right? Let's just say this is the same size, but obviously it could have been placed in a better spot. Let me get some pencil and paper. Good idea. I haven't drawn shit today. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I hope anybody listening along is drawing along. I do wonder how many new subscribers I have gotten, or like people who, because it's kind of clear now that that video I put out being like for beginner artists, right? You need to watch this video. I'm good. It's not really clickbait, I guess, because it's the truth. At least it's what I felt was my truth. It's my reality. But I'm sure that now there's a decent amount of people. I gained like 100 subs at this point from that video, so it's awesome in the sense that I'm really glad that people resonated with it because that's what I hoped would happen, right? I hoped you looked at that shit and be like, oh my God, this guy was actually garbage, and he's still in the ability to make garbage. You can make the ground more interesting by adding rocks and tall grass segments. Very true, very true. In fact, I could literally just add a rock right here. But yeah, I hope that video really put into perspective, no pun intended, that, dude, like everybody is shit. Here's what shit looks like, but here's also what work looks like, right? Here's what trying looks like. Um, Not that I'm an expert in trying, but I'm trying to get better, right? And I don't know what I'm doing here. This is really little thought occurring right now. I'm trying. It's like I'm trying to think about interesting grass shit. Fucking amazing education, right? If you ever struggle, just think about interesting grass shit, right? And I know we need variety, right? We do need to have a little bit of variety. I don't like the thing is I clearly have a tendency to crowd the image. I do, and this is, and I was actually telling my friend this, right? And technically, it's not that bad of a thing because it's better that I have to find out how to remove elements from what I'm trying to draw rather than trying to figure out what to put in, right? At least in the sense that, like, in terms of crowding the image, right? In that particular context, so it's not so bad, but it's as you can see, like a tendency, right? So it's I'm just I'm trying to not do it too much, but and again, like these lines are really bad. Yeah, I'm not trying to do it too much. Here I'm trying to have it be like, okay, look, there's clearly uh pressure being applied, right, by this really, really strong tree root, you know? But is this the right way? I don't know. I'm not gonna be learning composition for a couple of years in the Artwad roadmap, so I don't know. Like, so it just comes down to me trying to figure out, like, okay, you gotta lead the eye a little bit, you gotta inform a little bit, not give in things. Crystal Pirate says, for the record, I want to say any my good ideas come from my insanity from character design. Well, that's why I'm doing portraits. So Crystal completely explaining why that like character design is so important and just understanding like doing people because again I've my initial thought when I was doing all that hard surface stuff in the roadmap was if I can design good hard surface then I can design good anything, which I think still is true, right? If you can design good hard surface it's pretty fucking good designing a lot of other things as well, right? Because the principles of design don't change, simply the context in which you apply it to changes. But in the same vein, after talking to Broken Draw like Tyrion, right, he kind of made it very clear that hey, and I asked him because this is like something that had been on my mind, right? I asked him like I've been leaning kind of thinking towards just moving to doing portraiture, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. And the reasoning I gave, which is exactly the reasoning he agreed with, which is exactly the reason I'm gonna say now, is that yeah, like drawing people and teaches you a lot of things in terms of gesture, design, shapes, right? Keeping different proportions in mind, all that stuff. So that's why I'm gonna be doing it, and that's it looks like a passage to a village. Maybe. Maybe, right? Maybe. Now, I think it's very clear that I should keep this detail sparing because I don't believe that I should be overdrawing here, right? I think in general I've always had trouble with making sense or out of things when it comes to yeah, I guess like composition and shit like that. Not that I ever thought about it in terms of composition. It was just this tendency, and this is where your particular own style comes into play. And I use the word style very lightly, or in the context of decision making, because style is decision making. Style isn't oh my god, you fucking use this color palette or whatever. I mean, technically that's part of decision making, but what I'm trying to say is style is the decisions you make when it comes to the marks or the colors you use. Fucking, I'm horrible at giving examples, but I hope you understand. Style is decision making is what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah, that's it. That's a hashtag Viggy commentary for the ages. Right? The whole adding Viggy to things isn't really working. At least not even like in my fucking opinion, right? Probably 100% in the okay, that was a mistake. In the opinion of others, I've been hanging out in Broken Draw's Discord server recently. I was just talking about my game idea with a few guys. That's pretty awesome. You have a game idea? Please do tell so I can plagiarize. What was I saying? You fucker, you completely fucked my train of thought. Oh yeah, the adding Viggy thing to everything isn't really working, but uh, I mean, until I can run it to the ground, why not keep running, right? Never give up. Ooh. Okay, that looks like shit. That looks like shit, but it's my shit. Oh, it's my shit. Yes, sirree, it's my shit. So I will proudly proclaim that I did this dookie. Not only did I do this dookie, I hereby claim that no other dookie shall be like this one. That's right, we're already getting into property disputes. Yeah, so these are all mistakes and these are all off, and I fucked it all up horribly. But now this is the part. How can it be savored? I can tell you when I'm back, but I'm sorry, bro. I gotta go since my mom's here right now with food. Enjoy the food. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And now that he's leaving, somebody else comments, so I have somebody to talk to, so my loneliness doesn't cripple me, right? Except you, Osain. Get the fuck back to work. And like, just stop watching this video if you're still here, you little shit. But I say that as a complete stranger, of course. There you go. Okay, none of this looks good. Good. Let's see. Did those 4 people leave? Yes, one of them's. Oh no, that was probably just Crystal Pirate. Dude, what the fuck does a tree even look like? God damn. So this is not a tree. This is clearly like a veiny root thing. So, am I correct in probably not making this a tree, maybe? Or we'll just leave it. I'll come back to this later. This is when in fucking doubt, which is every single part of the drawing process for me. Leave. Just leave and never come back until you're forced to. But let's see. No, this is slightly off center. Okay. What else can we do? He said he wanted a flying Mothman, and he said he wanted a meteorite in the middle, right? So this is gonna have to be a very detailed meteorite. God damn it! Why do you have to say meteorite? Okay, let's give it a shot. So we all know meteorites have holes in them, right? They all meteorites seem to be very, very hole-like, right? Uh, Not just holes, obviously. And the holes aren't perfect. And by we all know, I'm just gonna say, like, in terms of just generally as an idea from what I understand of meteorites, right? This is most likely what they encompass. Emphasis on the cum and the puss. So essentially the entire word. Right? Like maybe because it's all just these are the edges. And okay, there's like a lot of tiny ones too. This one I definitely dude, like it's so hard for me not to add detail. Right? And the thing is, I'm not proficient enough to add detail which helps. My detail that I add is just fucking stupid and shit. See, like, you can't even tell what this is supposed to be. What if I just add some detailing? I literally just keep going back and forth. But it's okay. This is the art process, right? There you go. Just something like that. And then we'll make this a lot thicker. Everybody knows that girth is important. And if you don't, well, now you know. So please get girthy. Let's see. I think this pen is dying. Why are my pens dying? I'm so fucking confused, bro. I did not pay $1.30 per pen because it was a 10-pack. Shafaria, Shafira, oh Shafira or Shafir Ashidi. Just subscribed recently. Love your videos, man. I'm sorry, I fucking spent like 50 minutes trying to figure out your name. I'm brown too, which is the worst part of all of that. But the funny thing is, your name can be like 3 different names depending on where you start and end. So it's your fault. Why do you have that name? But yeah, Shafir, I believe it's Shafir Ashidi. 1171, everybody dox him. Just subscribed recently, love your videos. I know I already said that, but thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it, right? Again, I hope you're drawing along, right? I hope you're drawing along. But, okay, how does fire look? Again, a very, very catastrophic element. So is it... It's a lot of curves, right? We want to make sure it has a nice... Well, fire is about silhouette. I think I can say that, right? Fire is literally... But what makes a good curvaceous, as one might say, silhouette, right? Perhaps that is the real question. And by perhaps, I mean that's most likely the real question, because I have no fucking idea what gesture is yet. That's important, right? I have no idea what it is yet. But for the time being, I guess, I mean, like, how many times have I really paid attention to a fire? None, really, not really. Apart from that one time I drew a campfire. How many times, right? So it's about expectations. My expectations are just what my current ability is. My evaluation and my standards are obviously 10 times above that, but see, that might be wrong. And because I made the lines too big, it definitely doesn't really... Is there more crackliness, right? Is there more... This is like a hard edge fire now, so It's clearly conflicting with what I've already done, right? And that is called non-committal poor decision making because I'm literally changing the scope of what I've already decided to do. I guess we can make the fire lean towards him because that will likely that's like leading the eye, right? It's like, okay, like this thing, it says shit, right? It says luggage or whatever, but we want to look this way. So that's my vague understanding of composition. That's what I'm going to apply with my vague understanding of composition, right? Because at the end of the day, drawing is thinking. Let's not forget that. I really I spent so much time fucking hammering that point home on that video, which I'm not surprised is blowing up. At least my definition of blowing up, being a hashtag small YouTuber, right? Which is a couple thousand views, which is really nice. And more than the views, I'm really happy that people, all the comments have been very supportive. There's been a few people that immediately I was like, bro, like you missed the point of the video. Somebody commented being like, guys, if I don't know who's watching this, but if you go to that video, right, this video is for beginner artists, and then brackets, you're alone. If you go to that video, there's one comment specifically is, and the thing is, I'm not shitting on this person. I want to be very clear, right, because I was that person. But like, it's like, how did you watch my entire video and then still, at the very least, not trying to change your language and work towards changing the way you think about this? Which is the point. Which is basically they said, thanks for reminding me. Like, I always skip the boring part. Thank you for reminding me I need to get back to the basics, right? Something like that, and then like a really, really sad emoji. So what they're saying, I have nothing against, which is thanks for reminding me I need to do the basics. But using the word boring, which I fucking like, I was like jerking off over how you should not be calling that shit boring because you're boring and it's stimulating. All the whole shebang, the whole discussion around that is like, okay, I really tried to establish that these are not boring concepts; they're difficult concepts, right? And there's that, and then there was the fact that they put a sad face when it came to just practicing. So I'm like, I understand. I completely understand mindsets cannot be changed immediately. Like that is the number one thing I understand more than anything. But I also understand that a shit ton of effort can be put towards changing that mindset. That is not only like that is the main thing. Like you can 100% put all that effort towards changing your mindset. So it starts with your words, right? It literally starts with your words and what you think. So when you recognize that, hey, like I'm maybe not thinking about this in the best way, that is where change can happen. It's beautiful. See, I don't know if this makes sense, but I'm also trying to take advice in the sense that like sometimes graphic shapes, like I'm trying to take the advice, yeah, like graphic shapes can be pleasing, where you just let your mind kind of uh, through pure intuition do it. I mean, like I've made it very clear, I'm not really the biggest advocate of intuition, but the thing is, I'm still thinking, right? I'm still thinking on the fact that I'm trying to make pleasing graphic shapes, right? But is not lost. But I guess because these lines are very fast, it's just about like what, yeah, intuitively is the pleasing graphic shape that I can make. I think this kind of looks like fire. I do believe that I made the big beginner mistake of see, I'm trying to fix it right now. Is like they're all the same length. We need variety and we need changes in angles, directions, a million things to think about, right? It's like, okay, just in terms of gesture, a million things to think about. But okay, let's start connecting this meteorite, right? You know what the fucking annoying thing is? I just established the precedent that that's the type of rendering I'm going to use. That's why you got to focus on the process. Because right now, I'll be completely honest, I don't really feel like drawing at all. Like I don't. I don't feel. I can hype myself all I want about putting in the effort. So this is why I keep saying that I'm not infallible, and I'm just as subject to these feelings as you are. But the point is that I'm still trying here, right? I'm still trying and making that effort. Will this look like a meteorite? Who knows? Right? Who knows if it will actually look like a meteorite in the real sense? But will it look like something I tried to do? 100p, 100p. Okay, we don't need to at the edge to have everything. Right, this kind of makes sense, but not really. Again, maybe I made this meteorite too small. I don't know how to draw something that's burning. I don't know how to draw like a charred body on the meteor, right, as they say. Right, so, and then, let's see, something like that, maybe, right? That's to indicate that the bird is coming from there. I don't fucking know, bro. You're talking to fucking the wrong guy to ask about this. Makes zero sense. Who else is watching? Who is not commenting? Okay, 3 people. I can allow that. I can allow the lack of interaction. Now that one video has blown up to a staggering 2,000 views, where are the money and the hoes? God damn it. Where are they at? Where's the notoriety? Where's the fame? How come all the big YouTubers haven't reacted to my video yet, being like, "Oh my God, guys, this guy's amazing." Where is it? I'm frustrated. My expectations have not met reality. I will cry now. This doesn't really look like a meteorite anymore, but perhaps I can change that. This doesn't look like a meteorite, and I don't think it looked like a meteorite in general in the beginning either, right? Rock structure. But you know what? Maybe this is actually the texture I can use towards this. Maybe this is literally the texture I can use for this meteorite. And again, I use that word meteorite very lightly because clearly it's not fucking meteoring anything. But let's see. Right. Maybe somewhere along the way the answer will be found. Who knows? Who knows? Right? But until then, you see, like, lines. The reason I kept saying everything is a meta skill is because look, like, I can't draw lines like this in this angle very well. You know, I simply do not have the skill, right? Not the talent, the skill. I have not put in enough intentional effort to achieve proficiency with lines in this specific angle for my finger at the speed that I am making them. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is to it. Right. Let's see. And my ego was just like, I got so many fucking like people watching this video now. So when I I was like, yeah, when I stream, I expect like 15, 20 people. Oh, this is what happens when you have an ego. Do not have an ego. You must let go. Bars. But there you go. Okay. Okay, this is starting to look more rock-like as I continue to try to define forms, right? And I have to be very careful. I genuinely need to be very careful with not over rendering this because that is something I struggle with, as I keep saying, right? That is a huge problem of mine, especially right now when I don't even feel like drawing and thinking is extremely difficult right now, right? But hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with you know what? Actually, I can render the fuck out of this, and it can be purely based on form changes, or sorry, plane changes. I think that's not bad. That's not a bad way to think about it, right? So I can do this, and I can render it, and I'll obviously try to keep. I think the light should be here, right? I think the light should. We could actually try to establish that right now with. So generally, we'll keep the light like that, like it's coming through there. Like this is the area, and then these will all be much darker. Now, is that correct? I don't know, because I don't know lighting, right? So what I kept saying in that video, you know, the beginner artist video, is you can only know as much as your standards, and you can only have and when your standards are really high is when your ability to evaluate gets better, right? Put another way, because I'll try to say it in a couple different ways, because I don't even know if I'm explaining it that well, is to evaluate your output, right? The outcome, to evaluate the work that you're doing, whether it comes to art or any other skill, right? We need a frame of reference. So to ensure that we evaluate, we have a lot of things to evaluate, right? The frame of reference must be the top. It must be the caliber to which you hold yourself to in terms of aspiring to be that level of skill or to a standard you want to be, right? Then we analyze to the best of our ability, and this is just either this is very actively or passively, right, with your own interests. Like, for example, I'll give an example. I obsessively look at really, really good draftsmen: Kim Jong-il, Carl Kopinski, Peter Han, Sorry Kim, TB Choi, right, to name a few. Who the fuck else? Whatever. Like, there's a shit ton of them, right? And I look at their lines, and I try, like, I'll either look at stuff like lines, their gesture, right? How are they informing lighting, blah blah blah, right? But obviously, right now it's line form and composition, and I'll try to figure that out, line weight, everything, you know. So that is what informs my evaluation. It is not the expectation, but when I make the lines and I make the mistakes, I am evaluating based on the standards that I've set because the standard I've set is very high. I hope that makes sense. So when I'm saying I don't understand lighting, and it's because I don't have like when I say I don't understand it, what I'm saying is I haven't looked or learned based on either the standard that a standard that I've set or through sheer repetition, right? And through like quality education, right? I haven't. So that's why I'm saying I don't understand it. This is all just kind of trying to just figure it out. But the beautiful thing is, again, like that's why dick ride form to the ground or to the moon. Dick riding it to the ground would mean like it starts and then it ends. The reason I do that is because, like even with zero understanding of form, I'm able to create something relatively compelling, right? And I don't know where else fire can go, right? Fire is three-dimensional, so perhaps for the time being, let's just make an inaccurate fire. Whatever. We'll purely for the sake of my lack of understanding and also just I think this looks relatively aesthetically pleasing, right? We will make this fire inaccurate. Okay, but we also have to think about the ground plane. Like we have to think about the perspective. I know this page is slightly off. You can't see the entire thing, right? This is the shoe, by the way. I fucked up this completely. I'm not actually trying to hide it. It's just dude, getting this camera to work with the camo app is a goddamn pain in the fucking ass. So because it like mirrors it and then it does a bunch of other shit, which pains. It's just fucking frustrating. Again, like this is intuition, but I guess thankfully my intuition, I'm starting to relatively understand like how I can make interesting lines, right? And I like sheer just effort, practice, right? What fucking the same repetitive shit I always say. But I hope it helps, right? I really tried to make it super clear that the only reason I can do what I do is just because I kept trying and kept trying to think, right? I'm not, even now when I'm saying it's difficult to think, I'm still really trying to the best of my ability to think. It's just my ability to think right now, like my current output, or yeah, my current effort is, let's say it's like I'm at 40%. That doesn't mean I'm not trying to do 100, like I'm still trying to do 100% of that 40%, if that makes sense, right? Like I'm still trying to do as much as I can within the means that I have currently today. And that is all that matters because you matter. Hashtag you love yourself. Some shit like that. Anyways, nobody commenting? I'm so sad. Whatever happened to hashtag Viggy famming? I'm bringing it back. Just chat on it and then I'm bringing it back. Yeah, whatever happened to the Viggy fammers? But either way, I hope whoever's watching, you're not just wasting your time watching me. Not that watching me is a waste. I am the most entertaining thing you probably have in your life, which is accurate because I'm extremely entertaining. But I hope you're drawing along. All that really, really unnecessary rambling aside. I hope you draw. I hope you draw. But let's see. So I want to indicate plane changes with my lines, right? So we can do something like this. Right? Okay, and then how do we do this? Something like that. Oh, there you go. And is this accurate? I don't know, but what I do know is I do understand plane changes at the very least, so I can keep trying. I can literally just keep trying. Right? Oh, and let's add these as well. Let's make that a bit more defined. Okay, so now this is the beauty, is like I get to actually just practice what graphic plane changes can also look like. Because yeah, like I created this big shape right here, but I can also do something like this. Pen and ink rendering the book was really helpful when it came to trying to figure this stuff out. Because it it is very difficult to try to understand that because mark making is a skill, right? And mark making isn't just one skill. Mark making is about, let's say, like fucking 40 skills in one, right? So it is very difficult to try to figure out what is a good mark. And no, I haven't done enough research in education, right? I haven't gone through the means of being like, okay, let me, because there's this book called Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill, right? That's what I've been not even seriously using, but just vaguely using, generally kind of trying to keep the principles in mind. But have I done the exercises that they give a million times? No. No, I haven't. There's like, he gives literally like 800 different exercises, right? And I simply haven't done them because I'm doing RWAD right now. There will be a time in the future where I really focus on pen and ink rendering, but that time is not now, you know? So all I can do right now is like with the concepts that I understand vaguely, but with my really decently, I'd say relatively strong understanding of form, I'm able to do this, right? Like I can, I guess if you want to call it, like I can bullshit it, right? We can bullshit it. And again, graphic shapes, right? So this is where the fire, I think there's like, this is where, because it starts to it gets dark, right? Like fire has dark spots around the light spots. So that is what that is going to be right there. And again, I've drawn fire once. So I'm also trying to recall, like from life, I've drawn fire from life once. So that was a really good practice because obviously you have to think about what is actually happening, right? But we have to also, like, then that is my frame of reference right now. Drawing fire once and trying to simply recall, by the way, months ago, right? Trying to simply recall, okay, like what is the logic? Because it's logic. It's not something that's just pulled out of your ass. It's everything has a logic to it, right? Everything has a logic to it. So we have to be the geniuses that try to figure out in our own way that makes sense to us what that logic is. But it's not, it's you only figure it out through sheer effort and repetition. You know, even here, I'm trying to think, like, does this make sense? Does using this line, like, or a line that bends like this, right? Does that make sense? Is that something that indicates form? Yes, no, maybe so, unsure, but I'm gonna keep trying and I'm gonna, to the best of my ability and my lack of knowledge, evaluate what's occurring, right? So yeah. But you know what? Now that I've drawn for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know how long this has been going on for. What the fuck? How long? How long? I have no fucking idea. YouTube won't tell me. Whatever. Now that I've been drawing for what feels like to me 25, 30 minutes, I'm glad that I started because even though there's still a million things I don't know how to approach this piece, and I know like in that video I said like I felt a lot of anxiety. To this day, there's still that sense of unease and discomfort because when you don't know something, your brain obviously doesn't want to do that thing that it doesn't know, right? Like that's just a given. Our minds, our bodies do not want to do things that they don't know because evolutionarily speaking, that would most likely, I would assume, lead to an outcome of death or pain or whatever the fuck, right? But in a learning sense, discomfort is literally the trigger or it's the stimuli that indicates to your brain that change must occur in order to become more proficient at this thing. 'Cause clearly, many resources, cognitive or physical, are being allocated towards attempting to become proficient in this thing, right? Makes sense to me, makes sense to you. Let's go. Okay, I'll silhouette this, and I think I might leave some space. Again, my brushmanship when it comes to thin lines, pretty decent. But clearly I can't make really good, consistent, thick lines with the variability that I want. Why? Because I don't have that skill yet. You see, like I can't, that's a skill, right? To be able to make varied line weights. I don't have that skill yet. And that's why this will look relatively subpar, even though I'm attempting not to. And that's the main thing. I'm attempting not to, right? I'm attempting not to, but I will. And that's when I can associate positive feelings and be like, nice, you fucked up. Because that is when the brain's like, oh, okay. Associating positive feelings with errors results in focus on those errors. These are all mistakes. Literally every single one right here. Every single thing I'm doing right now is a mistake. But that's how we learn. Oh, look at me and my fucking broken record saying the same shit over and over. That's why everybody subscribes to me, right? Hashtag Viggy's gonna hit 1 million in 2 days. Let's go. If I'm not murmuring too much. I don't like to murmur, but I do like to waste time. There you go. The lines could be a lot better, for sure. But hey, I'm really glad he mentioned try drawing like a meteorite thing, right? Because it's a good challenge. Clearly, I don't know how to draw a meteorite, but I do know not to never not give up, which means I give up extremely easily. Or does it actually? I confuse myself. I don't know. Hit like, subscribe if you also don't know. There you go. I'm pretty sure that was incorrect. It's not really following anything. There you go. And I still have to figure out, problem solve. What is this going to be on, right? Probably a crater would make the most amount of sense. But it doesn't make sense because his foot is here. If he's resting, if it's a, as what's it called? Crystal said, Crystal Pirate. If, as he said, if it's fucking, if it was on the ground, I should have actually made it much lower. Because we have to think about, okay, his hand's over the fire. Where's the depth? He's actually technically past the fire, right? So this actually should have been lower because then it would have been reaching it. But the point being that trying to convey depth is very difficult. And it's something that, lo and behold, I wasn't thinking about. If I wasn't thinking about it, how could I have made it so, right? Okay, so this is, I already fucked up because I actually added a bunch of lines here when I shouldn't have. This is supposed to be the light area. So we'll just very, very sparingly, very, very sparingly add plane changes. There you go. And if that works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because I don't have the means to evaluate right now, it's it's just purely about it's kind of just guesswork. But and being okay with that, being okay with the fact that it's just guesswork, right? Maybe indicate some planes here. Again, I don't know if it's correct. And again, these lines aren't the best either, like really at all. Kind of, I guess. And then I can just make this all dark because that's in shadow. I'm going to assume. Does this really look like a meteor? No, it just looks like a fucking kind of like coral reefs, right? Because they have this shape. Yeah, it doesn't really look like much, but I tried, didn't I? I tried. I'm tired, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. Fucking keep drawing, you little shit. All right. There you go, and then we can just Okay, that's fine. Razory Razory Chai. Hello. Oh, I recognize that. I recognize that profile picture. You commented on my video, right? Being like, I'm new to drawing, or I want to start drawing. I would like to say that please do not ever believe that you're not capable of the things I was saying. Maybe because I explain things very thoroughly, I have that problem. When I explain things to the extent that I believe one should understand, because obviously I have experience and there's nuance, right? So I try to explain all the nuance. I understand as a beginner, it probably felt very overwhelming to you. But what I do want to say is you can draw with pen. You can, one step at a time, just focus on, visualizing lines first. Just lines, planes, just at most, ellipses, right? With the pen, you can do that. You're looking at my level. I'm gonna make an assumption, right? You're looking at my level and my level, right? But like whatever, the level that is currently beyond your reach or beyond your capabilities, and you're ascribing that to yourself. That's an assumption I'm gonna make because that's what I used to do, right? But I would like to encourage you that no matter what, drawing with pen only is still benefit to you, right? Visualizing is only a benefit to you, and you are capable of it. Fucking, did I hit my hand on the camera? No, I didn't. Okay, but yeah, you are capable of it. Yeah, because I don't want I just don't want people to ever feel as if, because I explain things very thoroughly, I feel as if maybe there's just that disconnect where it's like, oh shit, that's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I try to be thorough so you don't have to be left in the dark. But I know my girlfriend's told me this. She's like, I explain things too much, and that's something I'm trying to get better at, right? But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if you were here still, right? I don't know if you left, but please be aware that in the beginning, it's in the true beginning, it's just lines, ellipses, and forms. And by the way, I guess for anybody who came from that video now or later in the future, or who just I guess is watching me from the future now, whatever. Um, while I do not intend to like extremely intensely promote that you should have done what I did. I do promote it in the sense that like yes, I think that is the best way to fucking just min max fundamentals. Like from what I've done, right? Like it's been working, but that doesn't mean you can't draw what you want to draw. It's clear. Can't even fucking I'm literally choking on dick. Can't even speak. Clearly, what the bare minimum of what that video showcases is, hey, practicing on fundamentals for just 5 hours a week has insane benefits. Right? That's basically the takeaway that I want people to have is, oh shit, he only did this for 5 hours a week, right? On average. Like, that way, that's all it takes, just 5 hours a week. And the thing is, for those of you who think that's a lot, it's not. You might just, in art specifically, or in just any difficult skill, you might not have built the capability to push yourself to that regard. To that regard, voice crack, to that regard, just like I have, or just like I had, right? But view it as an opportunity to push yourself, to be like, okay, how far can this blank slate of potential, how far can I actually go, right? I actually think like, for the people that want to just do the work, and because I'm the type of person, if I know it works, 9 out of 10 times, I'm just going to do that thing that works, right? Like if there's like overwhelming evidence that it works, right? Whether it's difficult or not, I will do it because it's just it's just brain dead. It's like, okay, I don't have to think. I just have to think while I'm doing it, but I actually don't have to think about what to do. So if you're the type of person who does not want to think about what, in terms of like the action you should be taking, like before you actually do the thing, right? Like what to focus on, but you want to think during the action itself, right? This is the fucking way. If you're like me, if you're like me, where like I just want to be told, or not told, but I just want to know what to do, and then I will fucking work hard on doing that thing while doing it, right? And I will problem solve my own way, but I will fucking do that thing, like that general thing. I will do it, right? Then everything in that video is literally just a prescription for you, right? Like that take that as like, hey, this is the way. But if you're not like me, then the fundamentals are still the fucking way. But I encourage you to also draw, I'd say about 30% of the time, and from imagination, from whatever you want, whatever you want, but apply the things you're practicing with the fundamentals. Like apply them, right? In the beginning, if you're just starting out with lines, it doesn't fucking matter if your proportions are inaccurate. It doesn't matter if you don't understand the 3D space. But what do you have control over, and what have you put effort into having control over, even for a few hours, right? Line, confident lines, clean lines, intentional lines, right? Oh, look, maybe I actually can try proportion with these confident, clean, intentional lines, right? But the thing is, like, this is why I wanted to make that video too, because there's too much nuance. There's too much nuance the more advanced you get. And the beginner will not understand that nuance until they go through a similar type journey themselves, right? It also falls on the student. No matter what course is made, at the end of the day, a successful course is not really made from the course. It's made from the students, right? Like, as much as I bitched about Drawbox, and I bitched a lot in that video, which is why I made a comment being like, hey, I actually kind of bitched a bit too much. Here's like, because I was very passionate and driven, all that good shit. But as much as I was feeling so burnout, I'm trying to get a healthy lifestyle right now. Good for you. Good for you. Sleep is the number one thing. If you should always equate more sleep or just a good sleep cycle, right? A good sleep schedule with good health, and also do some resistance training, exercise, get jacked, get to 10% body fat, put on 40 pounds of muscle. Very simple. But what the fuck was I saying? Fuck you, bro. You fucking completely derailed my goddamn train of thought. This piece of shit. Like, subscribe. Yeah, what the fuck was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Is it probably all the same shit about getting comfortable and all that stuff, or uncomfortable? But I was saying, and also like right now I'm not really thinking. I'll be honest, right? Because this is just meditative, filling out the fucking spaces. So yeah, there will be parts like that. But I'm still trying to think about the fire. You know what it means. What does the fire mean, man? But I'm not fat. I'm sorry, Daddy. Today I saw how he draws for the first time, Kim Jong-il, and now I understand what you're talking about. Uh, don't apologize, and I'm glad you understand what I'm talking about. I mean, so much of the thing is, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, it falls on the student to be a good learner, right? So there's too much nuance and that's the reason I made that video is because there's too much fucking nuance to any skill. The more proficient you get, that's why in the beginning, the nuance I kept focusing on in the beginning, that first 6 to 12 months, right, was just visualize the perspective, like the grid line. Now this is one vanishing point, this is another, this is another. Now I just keep seeing the parallel versions of that, right? Keep seeing the parallel versions of that, keep seeing the parallel versions of that. Visualize, put the ellipse inside of it, put the box in next to the ellipse, cut inside this, that, blah blah blah. But that's all we can think about. That's all I could think about, right? So, but because that gets easier to think about, the nuance comes from the fact that I can now think about a decent amount more things, right? So it's why I tried to make that video as clear as possible in terms of what was actually being done and thought about and like how that experience was for me before I forget, like I said, before I forget, right? But more than anything, you as a student must also take the initiative to understand in your way how that you can apply that. You like as a student, you must want to challenge yourself. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like no matter how good a course is, if the student does not challenge themselves, if the student genuinely does not chase discomfort, friction, and problem solving as and you know feedback loops and actually trying to understand what is good, what is bad, like objectively, right, in terms of foundational skills, then no amount of teaching is going to help. No amount of teaching because the student has not put the responsibility on themselves, right? Like you have not put the responsibility on your student. I'm not calling, I guess, fucking raise or try out, raise or try. I'm not calling you out specifically, but I'm saying that yeah, that's just what I have learned. Is like learning how to learn is half of it is the mindset and the how you respond to the stimulus. The stimulus of bad line, we respond with good. Brain says, okay, dopamine attached to bad line, therefore we must figure out how to make line good, right? And how do we figure out how to make line good? When you have a standard, when you have subconsciously, consciously analyzed an excellent, high, very, very high standard, right? To which your brain can fall back on, you know, within the deep recesses of your mind and be like, okay, that is what we're trying to achieve. But yeah, hashtag big inspires, I guess. I keep using the same jokes over and over. Please get used to this, my new 100 subscribers. Right? Okay, so now we have a shit fire, right? Perhaps underneath the fire is literal shit. I just gave myself an idea. This is Crystal was right. The best ideas do come forth when you're designing characters, and I'm designing a giant pile of shit. So, okay. Well, actually, no. Like seriously speaking, what do I want? Oh, you know what? Let's ground the perspective. So this is my horizon line, right? We need to now ground the perspective. Look at that. And you're about to see, like, when I have to draw this big, my ellipses still suffer. Actually, yeah, see, I fucked that up. Okay. But this is how we work around mistakes, right? There's a big ass ellipse. See, this is wrong. I want to make very clear, but I can see that it's wrong, right? I can see that it's wrong. So that's also really important. Is like you want to be able to see that you're wrong. Never, ever, ever not know what's wrong. And I don't mean that in like a scary, like, oh, I have to see all the time. It's like the point is you always want to try to understand what could be better, right? You need to establish an analytical approach with your art because the analytical approach is what's going to pee pee poo poo, hold up. And the analytical approach is what's going to allow you to actually make to evaluate and make the progress that you need to. See, as you can see, it's very hard to fucking talk and draw at the same time. But now I've actually established a decent perspective, because that's what it is. That's literally what the perspective is. All it took was a fucking cylinder. Wonderful. Trabla, the person who basically said they want to focus on their health. Trabra, Trubra one? Trubra Lados? What the fuck, bro? I cannot speak. Whatever. Today I was trying to understand the size of the objects compared to another object. Great. Great. Understand it by drawing one small box and then a larger box and then just scaling and just doing it 100 times. Right? Yeah, sorry, you're not gonna get like the advice from me, which is too vague, right? I'm literally just gonna tell you do 100 more with intent, because 9 out of 10 times that is what's gonna solve your problem, is to do 100 more with intent. Like I will never ever fucking be vague, to the best of my ability, right? Indian accent. Where is the Indian accent? Where is it? It's not, fuck, man. I've been trying so hard to be white and my accent is still Indian. What the fuck? I grew up in Canada too. This is bullshit. Unfortunately, I know the Indian accent is not very pleasing to the ear, but what can you do, right? It's just a byproduct of the language that is spoken and then how it translates over to the other language. So, see, I'm trying to think about form here, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Um, that looks okay. That looks relatively okay. I'm gonna fucking ban you if you ever say I have an Indian accent ever again. I will specifically go out of my way to ban your existence. Okay, so now it's in a pot, which is nice, because now we can ground this pot, right? Obviously this is off, right? I'm well aware that it's pretty off, but hey, now we have actually established the perspective. Horizon line is here. We have, to the best of my ability, right? This is what I saw, but this is what I applied. But like this is what I tried to, because it's like this, right? And that's the vanishing point. Horizon line's over there. Wonderful. How quickly did you abandon guidelines and actually start visualizing? Immediately. Immediately. If you look at that video, for beginner artists, you'll see that I did the hardest thing first, and that's what I want to emphasize, is like you do the hard things first, because then when you do the hard thing immediately, right? You train yourself to be used to doing hard things. And it takes time. It takes a lot of time. But the point, that's why I keep talking about the effort, is because you make an effort to do hard things, right? So let me actually ground this perspective even more. Okay, let's see, and something like this. And then something like this. But yeah, you'll notice that from all my videos, if you've ever watched them, you'll just see that, oh, he what's it called? I don't know why I'm talking about myself in third person. I'll try to explain this as well as I can. But I noticed, like, the way I thought about it is like, okay, if all the great artists visualize, right? If all the great artists that I look up to, great draftsmen, visualize and they already see what's underneath, right? Or a lot of what's underneath. Kim Jong-il himself said he only saw 40 to 60% max at all times, right? So take that into context. Like even at that level, the visualization isn't the constant. The effort and the knowledge and the applicability of that effort and knowledge is the constant, right? The visualization is just like that seems to be maybe that's not the limit. That was his limit, whatever. But the point is, like, you just have to always try to visualize as much as you can. And I want to be very clear. Everybody visualizes differently. I visualize in my mind sometimes, and then I visualize on the page a lot of times. But I've trained myself to visualize more on the page than in my mind. But before, it was a mix of my mind and the page. Now it's like back and forth, but it's mainly on the page, right? But it's still in my mind a little bit. Some people fall way on the mind spectrum, others just on the page spectrum, others are a mix of both, right? Peter Han has said he's a mix of both. Kim Jong-il is like purely sees it on the page, right? So it's not about how you do it. It's not about like, yeah, how you do it in a general sense. It's how you do it, right? How you find it to be easier to visualize. It's not easy to visualize. It's never easy to visualize, but it's not like how you find a more natural version of the difficult skill of visualizing, what you find that you gravitate towards, right? In terms of honing that skill, like your version of that. But I learned English playing Roblox. That's interesting. I've heard about Roblox. That's pretty cool. To love drawing, I'm trying to have a healthier life. Doing a dopamine detox to take care of my mental health. That's good. Yeah, get off all the short form bullshit, right? I'm assuming you mean that when it comes to dopamine detox. Why the fuck does that passage have veins? Because it's not a passage, it's three-dimensional, goddamn you. All right, I was trying to make it very clear that it's three-dimensional, but I guess I gotta add contour lines, right? Gotta add contour lines to make it three-dimensional. You piece of shit. How dare you criticize my art? I can't take critique. I'm banning you. Anyways, that made zero difference. Uh, Beautiful. But sorry, Razor Chai, to answer your question, right? I, because I want to be very thorough in how I answer this as well. So, hold up, let me fucking do this. This is gonna take forever. Please bear with me. But I immediately decided to not draw with guidelines, right? Because I was like, if the skill, if the skill to visualize can be built clearly to such a high proficiency, why build up to being why essentially have training wheels in the first place, right? Because visualization, it isn't as if suddenly, it's not like using a brush pen where you're or not, sorry, that's a horrible example. It's not like lifting 500 pounds where you literally don't have the ability to lift 500 pounds. Everybody has some level of ability to visualize, right? And as you've seen from my examples in that video, like that beginner drawing video, you'll notice that it was months and months of not being able to visualize, but the intent to visualize, right? I knew that I had to visualize a parallel line, or a nearly parallel line converging towards a spot. And then over here, and then the box, right? For 2-point perspective. I knew that, right? We know that the standard I hold myself to is essentially perfection. Like I knew I had to see that as perfect as possible. The reality was when trying to visualize for months on end, I saw a line like this, I saw a line like this. And then months later, I saw a line like this, and then I saw a line like this. And then months later, I saw a line like this, and then I finally saw maybe slightly off a line like this. And then months later again, I saw the lines were converging. But that's the thing. I already knew I had to visualize, or not knew, but I noticed or I took in that I had to visualize perfection. Therefore, I simply strived to visualize perfection, right? But I did not expect the application to be perfect. I simply used the application as a means of evaluation, right? So I hope that helps. Actually wrong. Not all people can visualize. It's called aphantasia. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I'm actually not sure about that at all. Because I saw a study where apparently even individuals with aphantasia built a degree of visualization through pure effort and actually training the skill. All right? It may, and listen, there may actually be people who can't do it, but the vast majority of you are not those people, okay? Because I couldn't visualize shit in the beginning. I could have easily just been like, I can't visualize. I literally couldn't see anything. For months on end, right? It could have been very easy for me to be like, I have aphantasia. Instead, because after 4 months, I started to see slightly something, I was like, okay, I'm slightly getting better, right? So your immediate response, yeah, see, exactly. Razor tree. Antonio says that this means that you haven't trained your forms enough, XD. Exactly. Nobody has the right to say that they can't do anything if they haven't put at least 5 years of effort into it. That's just the baseline. Like if you haven't put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of genuine intentional effort and friction, right? If you haven't done that, then, and I say this for myself too, right? I don't have the right to say I can't do something until I've tried for hundreds of hours. Only then am I allowed to speak on that because I have experience now, right? So, take that as you will. Hashtag controversial, right? Man says something with conviction. More than anything, man says something. That's already controversy right there. That's already controversy right there. That I love that accent. It reminds me of So anybody seen Gravity Falls? Get him. It's funny. Love that shit. Okay. And then my goal is love the process. Awesome. I don't know who Antonio is, but fuck him anyway for no particular reason. Bro, Antonio's, first of all, there's no need to be rude. Like there's really no need to be rude whatsoever, right? Nobody here is being rude. So I'd appreciate if you weren't being rude about that, because Antonio Staperitz is the founder and creator of Art What. He's the reason, his entire approach to learning art forms and everything is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing today. And it's why I'm such a huge dick rider. So I would appreciate it if you're saying I don't know something, then it's best that you at least try to know, right? Like we should all be aware if we're ignorant about something, right? If you don't know something, I don't think the first response is to be negative, right? If anything, the first response is to inform yourself, whether you care enough to inform yourself, of course. But no, it's fine. My goal is love the process. That's okay. No, it's completely fine. Like, listen, everybody feels passionately about something, right? So I can always appreciate the passion, but I think we should all, despite my channel, me just being a complete piece of shit and just swearing all the time and just insulting everyone and everyone, and including myself, I don't actually condone or appreciate or encourage that type of thinking. I just want people to try. I just want all of us to try, right? That's actually what I want. So, hold up. I want to answer some questions. I don't mean a lot of the stuff I say. Me neither. That's why this channel exists, as you can see. But there's actually a few people talking, so I might as well answer you guys, right? Troublados. That's what's fucking me up. Troublados. I started drawing as a hobby. I've always loved drawing, and now I'm focusing on the fundamentals. Wonderful. That's awesome to hear, right? You're already ahead of most people because you actually love drawing, right? Loving the process, as I've said multiple times now, is purely just training yourself to respond to the process in a specific way. When you make mistakes, the response is good, right? That's it. You can literally force yourself every time you make a mistake to force feelings of positivity. However that is. For me, I just have a smile on my face, or I just force this vague feeling of like I feel good, right? Which is, as Andrew Huberman, the one whose video I watched regarding how to learn skills faster, he calls it attaching dopamine, right? But that's literally how you love the process. And when you only focus on what you're doing, I thought this would be shit, but this actually looks pretty interesting, which is nice, right? Now the next question is, right? The next question is, what the fuck? What do I want to do? Because there's a lot of things I could do, but what do I want to do to not make this as convoluted as possible? Well, first, we can continue to establish the perspective. Now, see, I already messed this up, right? That line was a complete mistake, but we can continue to establish the perspective. You might be wondering what these are. Right now, they could simply be aesthetic marks, right? These could just be patterns, or I might make them three-dimensional. I have not yet made the decision whether I want these to be three-dimensional or not, right? Crystal Part says, what is that fire anyways? That was just my attempt at doing the meteor thing that you mentioned. Keyword being attempt, right? But hey, the fact that you know it's a fire means that I did something right, which means that I have understood something, which is awesome. Right, so because I haven't made the decision if I want this to be three-dimensional, right? Let's just move this page up slightly. It looks like a platter. It does look like a platter right now. I completely agree, which is why we need to, maybe we should establish some other forms, right? And I'm specifically leaving space here because I might actually have to make this three-dimensional, right? But if that's the case, then it's time to make these forms a little bit more complex, right? And again, like this is pretty subpar, but what matters is that I'm trying to not be subpar. And I've already fucked up this ellipse, right? But it's kind of like when you keep reaffirming your mistake in this sense, like when you make a slight perspective mistakes, he just changed the... I saw a channel called Bryce Colander. Oh yeah, Bryce is amazing. He draws like Kim Jong-il, but his problem I think is that he draws a lot from his imagination. He just changed the things. I think it might help to just draw some lines indenting into a hole, and it almost looks the same. Okay. Draw some lines indenting into a hole. I actually had a plan like that, so we'll see. We'll see. I was actually thinking maybe this will be carried, right? But we will see. We will see what I do. Bryce Colander is amazing. I actually do agree with your critique. I feel as if perhaps he does draw from imagination a bit too much, because he only draws the things that he's interested in, right? And the things that he's interested in are purely samurai portraits, all that stuff. But his figure drawings, and this is purely just a critique. And this is the thing, right? Like I said this in my video. Like I can critique the fact that okay, his portraits aren't amazing and his figures aren't that great, but I cannot. I actually like my words don't hold weight because I haven't put in the work that he has, right? But no, I think Bryce is amazing though. Like I do agree that perhaps he can step outside his comfort zone a little bit, but at the end of the day, he's always drawing and he loves drawing and he's won because he's always drawing and he loves drawing. Now let's see if something like this. Okay. Right, and this is just adding a little bit of complexity. And this could be wrong. This is why I say drawing is thinking. This is why I'm silent right now. Is purely because I'm literally thinking about the form. I'm thinking about the form, right? I'm thinking about the perspective. I'm thinking about the grid lines. Do you have any literature recommendations? Okay. A crystal pirate. Anyway, my time here is short-lived. I only came back to check in, but I got a shower. So farewell, part two for a few minutes. Dude, have fun. Have fun, yeah. Enjoy your shower. I actually need to fucking shower too. Thanks for reminding me. Or did I shower in the morning? Ah, shit, I already showered in the morning. Damn it. I love a hot shower. Anyways, especially during winter. Trouble says exactly. Razory Cheese says, do you have any literature recommendations? The thing is, like, most of my shit just comes from purely following Artwad, right? That book I mentioned, Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill, is incredible in terms of just understanding that, hey, we can do a lot with lines, like, we can do a lot with lines, right? So I would recommend that purely from just line practices. I would genuinely recommend it, but I'm not the one to go to for literature. In terms of, like, interesting art books, there's obviously Kim Jong-il's Follows, like, all of Kim Jong-il's books. There's Dong Ho Kim's space drawing books, right? And he's actually, Dong Ho Kim's a disciple of Kim Jong-il, I believe, right? So his book is also just very similar in terms of like how to draw space. But the thing is, here's like the honest truth, right? Here's the real breakdown. You know, click on this video if you want the honest truth. The books matter much less than your application. Because the books only matter when you apply what's in the books. So if you're asking for books just like, hey, I just want to, because I had this problem too, and these are all assumptions I'm making, so please be aware, like, I'm not saying you do this. These are assumptions I'm making based on common patterns I've seen from people who are looking to get started and who are beginners and all that stuff, right? So what did I just stumble into? Just a sandwich. You stumbled into a person rambling while drawing. I think it's pretty self-evident. It's like, it's as fucking clear as it gets, right? But let's see. Oh, I think maybe I want to do something like this. See, that's a tangent, so we want to avoid that. Tangent is just like an awkward placement of lines, right? And that's off center. But personally, I feel as if books are just great for like if you want to read, obviously read the book. If you want to apply, then you must actually think about. Hold up, I got fucking Jesus Christ. This is hard to see. Okay, so I clearly made this flat. Maybe it should have been curved, but I clearly made it flat. But yeah, I would say books are less important than the application. But if you do have a book you're interested in, then of course, please do like enjoy, read it, whatever. But know what purpose you're going into that book for. Are you going in for entertainment, leisure, or are you going in for learning? Because going in for learning means you actually have to focus and really pay attention to the book, and you need to stop and do 100 repetitions of whatever they apply. But a lot of art books have the problem in the sense that they assume you already know form. This is why I keep shilling Artwad, because beginner drawing, this is another thing I really got pissed off with when it came to beginner drawing stuff in general. And this is regarding books and artists, right? Artists who sell a course, beginner drawing course, but it's not a beginner drawing course. They assume you understand perspective and form very well, at least at like a solid 7 out of 10, right? They assume you understand a perspective and form as well as I do, right? Or maybe a little bit less. Right? I don't like thinking that my understanding is some fucking profound, amazing thing, right? But the point is they assume you really understand form, which is the stupidest fucking thing in the world because it's beginners don't understand that. But the reason they say that, the very clear reason they're like beginners welcome anybody is like because they obviously want the money, right? And that's not a knock on them. Everybody like it is obviously understandable that they want to increase their target audience and they want and beginners are like the largest fucking target audience, right? Because they're the ones who are constantly shitting themselves trying to learn. But I would say that's why I keep showing Artwad is just before using any books, and this is my personal opinion, right? Is just get good at the fundamentals. Right? Get proficient, understand and apply to the best of your ability, right? That is your biggest return on investment. Okay, maybe it's like this. And design is a whole nother thing. Look at this. Like, what the fuck? How's this good design? Yes, put square around cylinder. That will be really exciting and interesting. But hey, I guess it kind of is. Kind of. Just kind of. Okay, so now I want to think about what is this, right? What does this turn into? Let's see. What does this turn into? Because the fire is okay. The fire is actually genuinely it's okay. And I'll leave it as that for the time being. Let me see. Do I still hear my annoying ass voice in the stream? What? Wonderful. And the quality seems to be pretty decent. Right? This is actually amazing because I'm going to do this. I'm so glad I stopped that thing right there. Because now we can establish the perspective yet again. Now see that? I did that and I have to commit to that, right? But now that I think about it, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe I can't fit everything in here. And that's a composition thing, right? Astounding Kangaroo, what up? What's up? Not much, I'm drawing. What's up, Astounding Kangaroo? Are you an old fan, a new fan? Right? How did you learn about me? What are your thoughts on drawing? What are your thoughts on art? Why is your name Astounding Kangaroo? Right? Answer every single one within seconds or you're banned. But let's see. Eh. And yeah, you guys can see, I hope, and girls, but I hope you can see that my lines, everything is so very subpar. Like this is all very shoddy, but I keep trying, right? So I'm new. I just saw you streaming. Just saw you streaming there. Razor Chi, of course, but these foundations need to be taken from somewhere. Well, that's the thing. Like my foundations came from Artwad, right? Like they're the learning platform that I'm like, okay, like this is why I shill them, not because I think that what's it called? I don't shill them because because I'm paid by them. I shill them because their methods have worked astoundingly well for me, right? So that is why. So when you're saying these foundations need to be taken from somewhere, they are taken from somewhere. And Antonio has done an incredible job explaining how they are, right? Now, okay, I made a huge mistake here. Goddamn. I'm pretty good at drawing. Yeah, nice. Please draw along. Please draw along. All right. Okay. Just trying to think. I feel as if I should just. I made a huge mistake here because I couldn't think about the logic behind this. But let's see if I can make it work. Big thing is if, right? If I can make it work. See, like I actually don't understand. I think I completely made a mistake regarding this, but I'm just trying. Are you better than Kim Jong-il Kangaroo? He most likely is. When somebody confidently states they're pretty good at drawing, they're objectively saying that they're the best at drawing in the world. So we are right to critique, criticize, and question that statement as often as possible. Here, let me just add some cylinders here for some fuckery. And maybe see, the perspective is actually pretty broken now. It's actually pretty broken, but I have to commit to the fact that I did this, right? Because now that's pretty three-dimensional. I have to commit. So the committing has occurred, right? We cannot take it back, and now it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, right? And that's okay, because that's a mistake, and these mistakes were bound to happen at one point or another. And I'm going to make the rest of this stuff around the fire dark to the best of my ability. Right? We might do cross-hatching. We might do cross-hatching. And you know what? Because thankfully this still kind of follows the perspective. No, it doesn't. No, okay, it doesn't. So we'll stick to the direction that we've been going in. But yeah, it's going to be really cool in the future when I'm awesome at drawing and my grandkids see me drawing. That's a really nice vision to have. I think about that too, right? Just when you can draw things for people, or just drawing is a very interesting. It's an enamoring skill, right? It's very very cool to watch at the very least, right? If I don't die before that happens, yeah, 100%. But again, Razory Chi. Oh, I think it's time to switch to a pen because I have no confidence in the lines. Yeah, 100%. And I hope my little beginner drawing video showed to you because just how unconfident my lines were, right? And the thing is, even now there's a lot of issues with confidence, but it's bound to happen. Let's say 20% of your lines are good, right? You know, good by your measure. 20% of your lines are bad, right? Top 20% are good, top 20% are bad, and the rest are just middling, right? It's inevitable that you'll have something that just doesn't look like how you want it to look, right? It's just absolutely inevitable. And you can see right now I'm making huge mistakes. What are the mistakes that I'm making? Well, the hatching is supposed to be following this direction, but now it's changed direction, right? So that's a huge mistake, and I'm definitely gonna have to cross hatch. But yeah, Razor Tree, right now I would literally just suggest you take a pen. It doesn't matter if you're gonna get like a different pen later, right? If you don't want to do brush pen because that's too intimidating, I do understand. I still encourage doing it, but I do understand. So I would suggest starting with a fine liner, right? Staedtler Triplus fine liner, very good pen. But I would suggest brush pen. I would always suggest brush pen. right? Do the hard thing first and only ever do the hard things. Therefore, you become someone who can only ever do hard things, right? But the point I'm trying to make is you 100% can do it, and just keep focusing on the effort you're making. Because in the beginning, your lines will look like, I don't want to fuck up, yeah, I don't want to fuck up the page. But in the beginning, your lines will look like, just move the shit out of the way. Your lines will look like this, because this is what mine looked like in the beginning. If anybody's seen that video, beginner video, right? It'll look like this, like fucking like this, right? I can't even do it anymore because my pressure is actually pretty good. But it was like this. Oh, too much pressure here, too little pressure here. Oh, I'm skipping, right? That's the beginning. Thousands of this, but then you keep going and it turns into this, right? It's always effort, right? How much effort are you putting into making your hand steady? How much effort are you putting into recognizing that your finger was like fucking one slight little pressure unit off of ensuring that it was a consistent line, right? So, oh, is this? It's not centered. Okay, cool. But yeah, this drawing is full of mistakes, and this is the beautiful part. Is like I'm literally nowhere near close to actually understanding anything. That's what I'm so happy by. It's like I actually don't understand anything. You know what I mean? Like I can draw this, but I don't know how to draw any of this, if that makes sense. Like I can literally draw a person looking thing and materials looking thing, right? And a fire looking thing and grass looking thing. And clearly this does not work at all because he thought it was a fucking passageway. But the point is I can make things look three-dimensional. And yet I have not even built a visual library which warrants that I can actually draw them to accuracy. And the answer is I can't, right? But I can make it look like I can. Look, like this is just going to shit, this fucking rendering. But at the end of the day, this is just a problem to solve, right? And now what is the problem? What's the thing that we all notice right now? It's cluttered. Why? Because this is an outline. The fire is an outline, right? We can agree on that. The fire is an outline. Well, my understanding of values is that this gradient, this value, this rendering I did in the back, is too similar to the outline and the things that are within it. So how do we increase the contrast? By cross-hatching, by creating more, by increasing the density of the lines. That's basically it. Look at that, it's already more outlined, right? Because we increased the density of the background. Now, I still don't understand values, let's be very clear, right? Hey bro, question, when do you think you understand form enough to move on to anatomy or portraits? That's actually a pretty good question. Give me 1 second. Let me finish my train of thought, right? But what I was just saying is, what the fuck was, everybody, it's my own fault. Why the fuck do I keep looking at the chat? What was I saying? Hold up. If I can remember what I'm saying in the next 2 minutes, then I'll say it. Otherwise, I'll just answer this person's question. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, no, I don't understand values, right? And I haven't studied enough. So like, this doesn't mean I actually understand values, by the way, but I understand the general concept that values is like shades of darkness and lightness. I can understand that. And I can understand that more lines in one area means darker than less lines in another area, which is lighter, right? And that's why that book, Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill, right? It's considered an all-time classic. It's like 100 years old or some shit, I think. The guy, I think he wrote it in like the early 1900s. But it's considered a classic for a reason, because the first thing he says, and that thing really stuck with me, the first thing he says is drawing in pen and ink, or rendering in pen and ink, is simply a matter of light and shadow, right? That is all pen and ink is, when it comes to rendering, by the way, rendering in pen and ink. But yeah, that really helped. That really, really helped me. Jeez, why does my page keep being off fucking center, bro? Okay, so question, when do you think you understand form enough to move on to anatomy or portraits? Right. Well, anatomy is very complex. Again, that's why I really like ArtWatt, and I'll keep showing them, is that they have a figure road, which is basic forms, boxes, cylinders, and then manipulating that form in their beginner road map, right? You learn how to manipulate. And then anatomy, which is just manipulated shapes. It's anatomy-informed shape manipulation, which becomes like the body and all that shit, right? I don't know how to do that yet, so I can't say with confidence that like my form is good enough for that, but I can manipulate shapes relatively well. So what type of understanding of form do we need, right? That was your question? Let me pull out another fucking sheet of paper that I'll waste. Right? I'm never finishing this drawing, I guess. I'll just do a stream tomorrow, fuck it. What's stopping me, right? But I would like to think, more than anything, first, you should just be able to do something simple like this, right? Which is just you draw the box, and obviously I would suggest making it a bit larger than this. You know, you can draw the cylinder for the neck, the head. I was like this, right? Oh, so yeah, true. I forgot. It's actually oriented differently. Pretend like I didn't do that, right? It's like this, and then you got the pelvis, like so. By the way, I really want to clarify. Keeping the perspective, keeping the perspective like this, right? Like this is our perspective right here, right? Keeping this in mind while having a box which goes in this angle and then having another box that goes in this angle, as you're about to see, is very difficult. That took me hours and hours and hours and hours to be able to keep this perspective, but then break it here. You know, it's extremely difficult. But anyways, let's just say you have to be at a point where you can do this. You know, if you can do this, and then, see, I can't even do this that well because I haven't practiced portraiture enough, or sorry, figures enough, and then I think there's like the kneecap or some shit. See, I don't know, I don't know anatomy, but I think my understanding is if you can do this, then you have the right, yes, I'll use that word, that's a good word. You do have the right to move on to actually anatomy-informed shape manipulation, but you need to be able to manipulate shapes as well. Right, this guy doesn't have arms because unfortunately he had a tragic accident where the person who drew him forgot to give him arms, so he just has a hole that has this much depth for arms. Here, let's make him happy because he's okay to not have arms. But when you can put multiple simple shapes together like that in a correct proportion and then rotate them, right? So you don't just want to draw it in this angle. You want to draw it from the feet up. You want to draw it from the feet up, but this is the perspective now. Like we're looking at the feet from here, right? Like when you can start doing that, is my personal opinion is it would be a good baseline, right? And if this sounds very difficult, it is very difficult. It's extremely difficult, and that's the merit of doing it, right? I would always encourage, and you guys are about to see in the next 2 years in my own portrait drawing and figure drawing journey, that having such a strong foundation and form, right, to my level is going to be nothing but a benefit, right? So I hope that helps. Right, it's hard to help in things that I don't have experience in. So obviously I'll preface that like I'm not someone who's ever actually I don't know anatomy, bro. Does this look, the only reason I know what a tricep relatively looks like in a shoulder is because I'm jacked. I can look at my own fucking arm and be like, ah, yes, that is my tricep. It is that big. But you know, I think obviously 10 years of lifting, you got to know what a fucking arm looks like. But I don't actually have the shape knowledge, right? I don't have the shape knowledge. But the answer is better understanding of form and complex form and manipulating that complex form, which will take hundreds of hours, right? And that's a good thing because you become someone who can put hundreds of hours into something and stick with it, right? It's always two options. Will I be the person who can do the thing, or will I be the person who tries to do the thing but really doesn't feel good about it? Or actually, I guess there's three options. Or I'll just be the person who doesn't want to do the thing. The person who doesn't want to do the thing, I think it's completely fine, right? Because they don't want to do it. They're very clear with themselves. But you got to not lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself and be like, I want to do it, but then I don't want to do it, right? But okay, what do you think is the best exercise for people who can't see form in 3D? Because I don't know how, but I'm having trouble seeing form in 3D than most. I don't know why, but I'm having trouble seeing form in 3D than most other days. It's sheer repetition. Did my stream stop? Did it stop? Is this fucking thing off center again? God damn it. Or I think my stream's just behind. Actually, look. Oh, but I'm having trouble seeing form in 3D than most. I don't know why, but I'm having trouble seeing form in 3D than most other days. Okay, sorry, my bad. I just have to keep checking if it's like, okay. So you're having trouble seeing 3D. The answer is purely more repetitions. More intentional repetitions. Go back to the box and cylinders, or at least, you know, go to the simple forms, and simply with every single rep, as much as you absolutely fucking can, train yourself and use your brain energy. Use your brain energy to really try to see it. Seeing form is not easy. It is not easy. You're literally creating the ability to see something that isn't there. You are building the ability to essentially visualize something that does not exist. Right? So, the best, just watch my video. I'm so tired of this. It's not that I dislike giving advice, but I feel as if I'm getting worse at giving the same advice because I guess I'm just getting tired of saying it. This isn't a knock on you. I always appreciate people having questions, and I do always want to try to help, but that's why I made that video, right? If you haven't seen the video, go on my channel, you'll see the title is literally "This video is for beginner artists," right? You don't have to listen to the entire thing, but just look at what I did. Especially the second half of the video, look at what I did. That's what you need to do. That's my answer, okay? That's what you need to do, and you just need to do it hundreds and hundreds of times, and this is what you need to visualize, okay? So let's make it very clear. When I say see the grid, and I'll make a video on this, I guess, at one point, because somebody asked me in that video too, but when I say see the grid, right? This is what I mean. We have a box. The box is the grid, and the box being the grid is as large as you can see this box, right? So in the beginning, let's say you can only see the box this much. That is your grid, okay? So everything inside this is also following that grid, right? It's all parallel. This is parallel to these two are parallel, right? Like everything is parallel to each other, but this is your grid. So what you need to see is this. I know I made these lines solid, but for example, if I were to draw a cylinder right here, right? What you need to see is this. This is what you need to the utmost best of your ability, focus on visualizing in your brain, okay? This is literally just what you train to see. This is what you need to constantly try to see, however you visualize. This is what we are visualizing. It is extremely difficult. It takes hundreds of hours to get to this point when I just kind of see form, right? And even then, I'm constantly trying to think. It's just the effort it takes me to think about this is so much less because I put in the work and my brain's gotten better and I've learned and I've enjoyed, blah, 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 right? But that is what you need to see. So then when you start drawing form, you still need to see that. And that's also very difficult. To see the form while you are applying, to see these invisible grid lines while you're applying, to see that this curve needs to follow the edge and the corner while you're applying. That is extremely difficult, okay? That's extremely difficult, right? And then let's say I want to add like a cutout in here. This is what I have to see, this plane right here. And then I put the circle in. There you go. Now it has a little hole in it, right? But that and then and the thing is, the beauty of this is you can be as creative as you want, right? We can add like one box, right? And this is gonna be fast, so just expect it to be shit because again, it takes time, right? But I'm just trying to do my drawing. But you do one box, you can do something like that, or you can do something like this, right? You know, we can attach it in different ways. And we don't just have to attach it. We can put them just simply in the same space, right? We can just have a box or a cylinder, right? We can just have a box or cylinder. And again, what am I seeing here? Every time I do an ellipse, what am I seeing here? This, right? And by the way, I'm not thinking right now because I have put so many hours into this that this is just intuitive. This is hundreds of hours of intuition at this. This is predicated on hundreds of hours of intuition, right? But I'm thinking here. I'm thinking a lot here, because this is not intuition. This is difficult, right? Because my standard or my ability, the output, like what I can do, what is difficult for me has increased in terms of the actual, I guess standard, right? But yeah, does that make sense? Does that help? Right? I'm trying to be clear. But I can only say the same things in so many ways. But yeah, this is what I mean when I say seeing the grid, is you literally force yourself to see lines that don't exist in perspective. And you literally force yourself to see them everywhere. Okay, if you want to see it here and you want to put an ellipse, you have to see it like that. If you want to see an ellipse down here, then you have to bring this down, bring this down, bring this down, bring this down, bring this over, put it here. Make sure all sides have to be even because ellipses are even, and then put it here. Okay, like again, you're seeing this and then you're going back and then you're doing this, all while zooming out as much as possible to see this entire box. So that's like 4 different skills right there that are constantly in rotation to the best of your ability, trying to keep in your mind. So that is it. Okay, wunderbar. Thank you for coming to TED Talk. Anyways, I'll probably just finish after I do this fireplace. I clearly didn't draw that much today. I did most of the time talking, which is why I'm gonna spend the rest of this week, I guess, just fucking doing this, because I don't mind helping. I do like helping. I do like that people have questions, and I would love to just give answers. But yeah, Akim's the bit fucking you guys gotta pick better name. God damn it. Akim 1768. Yes, that is their name, right? So yeah, I hope that helped. They probably fucked off, but that's usually what happens. A lot of the times on these streams, people ask questions. I'm like, oh, fucking ooh wee. I get to reply, and then they're like, okay, goodbye. I don't need your answer. You're fucking shit. Why did you ask me, man? There you go. Let's just try to make it a bit more prominent here. Okay, now this looks decent. Now the next problem to solve is what is this shape? I've committed to making this a multiple rounded cylinder, right? Like I'm projecting the ellipse outward. The real question is, what can this shape be? What complexities can this shape have, right? I could. The thing is, I know compositionally, I've already kind of fucked it up. I understand that because whatever happens here is going to be not on the page. And I guess personally, I would like it on the page. It really helps, man. Thanks. Hey, Crystal Fire's back. Nice. Yeah, okay. I'm glad. I'm glad it helps. I'm glad it helps. I mean, I hope, again, the answer is always more intent, more mileage, more focus, more visualization, but especially more intent and more mileage, right? But yeah, seeing the grid, that is what seeing the grid is. And that is something that you can literally achieve it. Everybody can achieve it because it's a trainable skill. Think about it this way. If it wasn't possible, we wouldn't have hundreds and thousands of examples that it is possible. Simple as that. And then if we think about that, okay, let's say 20% of people are above average, 20% of people are below average, and then 80% of people are somewhere in the middle, right? And if every single one of those 100,000 people, like as per this example, are able to achieve that level of proficiency to a notable degree, right? There are variances between them. Everybody has their own style, blah blah blah. But if it's achievable by that many people, regardless of their starting ability, therefore it can be done. Therefore you can do it, right? So. Yeah, Biggie inspires. There, I don't even think I outlined this shape well enough, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Oh, Kafka. Hi, hello. What's good? What's going on? Crystal says those resemble tent ropes. Not gonna lie. These, well, they are supposed to be ropes, so I hope it helps. But if not these, then clearly my drawing is fucked. Okay, dude, I really have no idea. Like, this is the thing, I'm drawing a blank, right? I have no idea what I want to do with this shape. I actually haven't practiced designing multiple round shapes that much either, right? So I'm actually not sure what I want to do. And we have to keep the perspective in mind as well, right? So actually, we could just do this. I could just and hopefully this will make sense. There you go. Right. There you go. So it's really big, right? Now I actually think I did mess it up, but I've committed. That's the fucking story of my life, clearly. I've messed it up, but I've committed. Right? Not only have I committed the mess up, I've committed to uh, following through with the mess up. Okay, so something like that. Oh no, no, I meant the meteor lines on the sides. The meteor lines? You mean the fire or I don't know, bro. I don't know. Either way, there's obviously a million things to work on. Right, now it's like a UFO with a meteor inside. Maybe. Okay, you know what? Like this shape is just not working out. I can't think of anything creative. But this is why also, the honesty I want to put forth is I can't think of anything. I just can't think of anything right now. I can't see anything either. Hey, by the way, yeah, see Akin's 1768, right? Like I can't see shit right now. I literally am trying so hard and I cannot see anything. So I hope that helps you. Is like even with my lack of being able to see anything, I'm still doing, right? I'm still trying. Okay, so how do we inform the form here? Clearly I've made this mark. Oh, I fucked it up? No, I didn't. Okay, I'm trying to think. Something like, That was wrong too, but let's see. If we do that, and then this is supposed to be a medieval environment, but clearly there's nothing medieval about this giant fucking cooking pot or whatever the hell. Right? So we can just, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just stick to the elliptical shapes. There you go. Now the trick is, how do we design, right? Because to be honest, the base shapes I have created are subpar. The silhouette is subpar, right? There's nothing interesting about the silhouette. So now we have to think, how can we design this? So at the very least, there's some level of interest that holds our eye. That's what we have to think about now, right? Maybe we can actually add some interest to the silhouette by doing something like this. Okay, hold up. By doing something like this. And again, I have to think about the perspective. Maybe I can add some interest. By doing, let's see. Something like that. I'm just trying to think right now. See, I did fuck the perspective up already, but now that I've established a little bit, and this is where intuition, also thinking, comes into play, because obviously I'm trying to figure this out. And I hope this shows you that, like, okay, like, it's, anybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes a lot of mistakes. Now it's a UFO. Did you sleep? Make a flaming moon with a face with fiery stars. I don't know. Maybe I'm just washed today, you know? But you're totally right. We have to use some effort in thinking of a form in 3D. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm trying so hard. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm trying so hard to design something interesting. And this is a weakness of mine. Like, I can't design big things. I have a lot of trouble designing big things. And like I talked about in that video, right? It's like, Drawbox makes you design big things. But because I'm not good, right? Right now, very, very clearly right now, right? That I struggle. And again, like, I think the perspective is completely off here. See, I just lost the perspective. You know, I just lost the perspective because drawing a scene is much more difficult than one would have you believe, right? So, okay, and we can add some interest. We can say this right here is, okay, what are some shapes? Let's try to think of some interesting shapes that occur around here. Oh, we could do something like this, actually. Okay, so I gotta think. So we got that. It's like this. Well, I know for sure I can do something like that. And then something like that. Okay, let's say like it goes all the way down here. Then we come back up. Okay, no, it goes all the way down there, and then we come back up. And something like that. That doesn't really make much sense. But when in doubt, add a cutout. There you go. Now it looks interesting. Making scenes from imaginations is indeed super hard. Yeah, it's extremely hard. And I actually haven't trained the skill in so long. I didn't draw for a month, right? I haven't done an imagination drawing, scene building imagination drawing, right? For a month. I haven't done that. So I have no right to think that I have no right to think that any of this is easy, but I definitely don't have a right to think that right now, this is something that I can do, right? With decent proficiency. And if that, okay, let's say like this one's, because I haven't even indicated that you should be able to rotate it, but this is just a problem that I need to solve, right? So, okay, that's foreshortening. I probably should have foreshortened that a bit less, but the beautiful thing is like Kim Jong-il would make mistakes all the time, right? Like that's a mistake too. Whatever. you got to pretty much print the grid in your brain as you make these hard ass decisions. Exactly. Exactly. Right. And that has nothing to do with, by the way, making good forms, making good, well designed forms, and being able to keep everything in mind and tell the story. Like it's a million things. It's a million things. Right. Like right now, I'm trying to think about like this lesson, like because what I'm trying to, I'm trying to add some diversity, right? Like this one's this way. You know what? We can just completely ignore this and just like so that way it's let's just say it's a bit tilted. And you know what? You know how we can indicate this? I like doing this a lot. It's just this because this line didn't mean anything until I added that around it, right? So that is a great little I mean, Antonio from our WAD teaches it all the time, right? Like indicating form, indicating form. That's what it is. And then again, these get you can just make them slightly thicker as they get closer. Now this is still very subpar. This is still very subpar. But you know what? I could add. Let's just turn this into a grill. Let's just turn this into a medieval grill. All right. So we can add vents. We can add vents. Right. And not only can we add vents, we can add relatively well-designed vents. I use the word relatively because it's not going to be perfect, but you know, I'm indicating that, okay, like nuts and bolts, right? It doesn't really follow the form, so that was a huge mistake, but we can actually fix it by being like, nope, it does follow the form, see? It does follow the form. You're just mistaken. There you go, see? It does follow the form, and that wasn't a mistake. That was actually shadow, right? So I'm out. It's 3 a.m. Good night. Holy shit, it's 3 a.m. there? Yeah, please get some rest. Please get some rest. Right? Now, I'm very well aware that none of this really looks that good. I'm aware of that, and that's okay, right? Because I'm still training my ability to see, and that matters a lot to me. I'm still training my ability to, you know, like put things in scale, and that's really helpful. Because this, see that we gotta make sure it's going and following that contour. I already fucked it up here, but because beautifully I have a shadow here and I've established that's in shadow, we can actually fix it on the next attempt, right? On the go over. But, and then again, we just gotta follow the perspective, and we'll leave that obviously because we're still trying to establish, you know, trying to keep proportion in mind, right? And by the way, what I did right here, what I'm doing here, that's another skill. Multiple rounding, single rounding, right? Oh, I guess I'll bring this out because I really want to drill in that everything is a skill, right? So drawing a box like this, or drawing, let's just say drawing a plane, right? That's a skill. Plane in perspective, sure. That's a skill, right? But if we want to multiple round it, we have to think about that plane. So it all comes down to thinking about the grid. And then we have to round inside of it while we're thinking about it. You know, we have to round inside of these planes while thinking about it. You know, and then we cross-reference. Okay, well, was it off? Was it good? Well, that was way too much curve. It didn't hug the corners, right? This one was too sharp. This one was actually pretty decent. That one was pretty decent, right? So you evaluate based on high standards. You don't compare to standards. You evaluate based on high standards. And standards are purely driven through your own interests, right? But I would always encourage them to be the absolute highest tier of that interest, right? So I'm going to assume most people, just an assumption, right? Probably an accurate assumption, but an assumption nonetheless. I'm going to assume that most people actually like good art. They follow good artists, right? So you've already created your high standards. Now, if you don't have good artists, or if you don't have artists that are good at form specifically, right? Look at me. No, don't look at me. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not gonna say don't do or don't look at me, right? My own humility aside, I know I'm pretty decent at form, right? Okay, so I see it doesn't fall there, so that, and look now I know that this was also a mistake. So actually, we could, to cover up that mistake, we could just put an outline here, right? and then that one is there, and then this one, it's in the bottom. Right? Not perfect. That's what it is. And that's good, because I'm not aiming for perfection. I'm just aiming for trying. Now, look, you see like how I already kind of turned this into a more complicated shape, purely based on just, and we can even multiple around this to be like, okay, it's like an actual stand thing, right? This is foreshortened way too little, and like it's off. It's off. It's 100% off. But Kim Jong-il always said this one thing which I really, really appreciate is the fact that he's like, you will make dozens. He always said something along the lines of, you'll be making shit ton of mistakes. It's just how you respond to those mistakes. And like he would like he even for him, he would always make a lot of perspective mistakes, right? But he said like he would just go with it. And then you kind of like when you reinforce it, when you reinforce your perspective mistakes and everything else follows that perspective mistake, suddenly that is just the rule you've created, right? Like this is all perspective mistakes. But now I have things reaffirming it, constantly going around it, reaffirming it, and it's like, oh, okay, so I guess that kind of makes sense, right? I guess it all kind of makes sense. Cool, you know. So that's just the way I always try to view it, right? Because we can't control everything, and we can only, because again, like look, like my grass, my ass is grass. No, I don't know how to draw grass, right? Like I don't know how to draw grass. I don't know how to draw weight being distributed on a plane, right? Viggy's stream popping off. Hello, Evan. Oh shit. I know Evan. Evan actually said some really nice things. You said, why does YouTube hate greatness? I do remember your comment. When this channel blows off, what the fuck, blows up, obviously it's gonna be hard to remember all the comments that I get, and I'll probably be disabling comments after a certain point, because I'm, you know, with notoriety comes unconstructive criticism, i.e. hate, right? But you guys should enjoy the time right now where actually just really, I remember every single one of you. From what I recall, Evan came from Tyrion's stream, Broken Draw's stream, when he first mentioned me months back, like last year basically, or like early this year. So yes, hello Evan, please draw along. I always appreciate the people who enjoy my content. And it's less about the content. I just appreciate that people understand that this person is working hard and he's encouraging other people to work hard. That's really the message I like to promote. There's this really anti-work hard culture on the internet, but I don't go on the internet, so I don't give a fuck. So it doesn't mean anything to me, right? So what I promote is do work hard. Do work hard to your absolute fucking best, right? Because that's the life you have. It's just, and work hard doesn't mean you fucking kill yourself. Work hard just means that you focus on things and you try to get better at things, right? Right? Ain't that right? But he's sending me a heart. Thank you. A heart to you as well, you fucking piece of shit. But we're done with this, I think, right? Want to add more things? I have a tendency to want to add more things and more things and more things. Jesus Christ, my head keeps fucking tapping the camera. I'm sorry, or the ring light. I found Broken Draw and found you. You are doing great. Thank you. Watch me become great. That's my channel slogan. But here, maybe we'll add little cutouts here. Again, the perspective for this is actually completely off. This should be going this way. That should be going that way. Too late. Too late. I wasn't thinking, and therefore I wasn't committing, and therefore I made a mistake. And that's because I haven't been thinking. I'll be completely honest. I literally haven't been thinking about the full perspective and like the horizon line. I see it when I zoom out, but I want to think about it when I'm drawing, but I haven't been because I haven't been putting enough effort, right? So like there you go. And even with not putting enough effort, I can output something like this, which is nice, which goes to show that hey, even when my ability to draw has been diminished for the time being because I haven't done drawing from imaginations in a while, I can still output something decent. Now we're going to do some triple hatching because I feel as if this is still not dark enough as a value. Right? When I have the money, I'll be joining ArtWad. Yeah, please do. I mean, yeah, I always encourage it. Not that I get anything from it, apart from just happiness that somebody else found a great platform and is able to work hard on it. Right? But yeah, like when I said this in my video too, I don't consider hard work to be killing yourself. I consider it to be effort and focusing on just getting better and enjoyment. That is what working hard is, right? It's just you're just pushing your ability to do difficult things, you know? Nobody's trying to kill themselves, and if they are, they're not trying to work hard. They're just being an idiot. Because I work hard every day to get 8 hours of sleep, to work out, right? To fucking meditate, to play, to do my piano practice, which I'll be doing this after this stream, right? To get my calories for the day, right? That's all hard work, but those are all for my betterment, right? Just like this is. So hard work is admirable, and I look up to people who work hard. And Alex Hormozy said this one thing because I fucking like obsessively listen to all of his shit regarding mindset and stuff because I love that guy. Fucking the funny thing is, it's not as if he said anything new. He actually just reaffirmed everything I'd already been thinking regarding working hard and regarding just pushing myself and wanting to learn and being the best version of myself. Right? Like he just reaffirmed it when he started saying shit like boring things. It's not boring. It's easy. Like if it's boring, it's easy. When he said that, I was like, oh my god, that's what I say. So obviously, when you find someone who you resonate with, you just start jerking off 24/7, right? But he said there's one thing, which is in the hero's journey, right? And in a story, we don't want what the hero has. We want to be like the hero, right? We want the traits. We want the characteristics, the virtue of the hero. So that's the thing. It's like I want to be like people who work hard. But anyways, not interested in digital. And I'm following Tieran's ebook and the Dynamic Bible right now when I have time to draw. I think that's all you need for the time being, right? I think that's Tieran is a fucking G for making that shit free. Bars. I'm not a rapper. Anyways, he is awesome for making that free. I personally would not have made that free whatsoever because I don't think he should feel guilty about selling quality education. I highly respect that he made it free though, right? Because if he's able to live off sponsors, then awesome, right? He did a great service to the art community, right? Not that I'm against him making it free. I'm just saying personally, as a business decision, right, in terms of selling a course, I think he should have obviously sold it. Not for an obscene price, but for a reasonable, probably like 25, $30 or something, right? But he made it free, which is awesome. That's still really awesome. But I think that's all you need, right, in the beginning, especially if you're just practicing learning forms. How does this look? How does this look? I know that it's still a bit muddied. I completely agree. If you have the opinion that like, yeah, like this is kind of, it's hard to read, looks a bit off, but I don't think it looks too bad. And I think there's an okay flow. I might actually end it here because it's been a very long time. Crystal says, bro, I'm so sorry I gotta leave again because of college application struggles. I must depart now, the 3 Dude, do your thing. I honestly just appreciate that you feel bad. Not in like a haha feel bad, but like I find it very kind and endearing that you feel bad and you enough to tell me that, hey, I'm sorry, like I'd like to leave. No, please live your life, do your thing, right? I'm just here to also just draw and hopefully people draw along. But yeah, and oh, and Razory Chi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Razory Chai, right? She or he, I don't know. I just assume you're a girl. Is this the profile picture? Might be, but either way, I'm not interested. Funny enough, when I first tried drawing in 2020, I wanted to do digital. Like digital was my goal, but that's before I basically wanted to make Animorphs, the fan manga, right? Fucking 20, 30, 40 years from now, right? And before I found Kim Jong-il. Then I was just extremely enamored by the pure technical proficiency and application of drawing from imagination with pen and ink. I'm like, that is, for me, that is just like a beautiful peak. That's a beautiful height. That's a beautiful level that I'm going to spend my life dedicating to. So that's why I'm not interested in digital. Not because I think digital is less or more or anything. I actually think digital is fucking sick. I think it's amazing. I do think it promotes really bad habits for beginners, not for advanced and intermediates, but for beginners it makes them unconfident. Because again, the undo button, right? Undo, 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 undo. And then that just promotes like, let me just keep scritching my lines. Let me just keep scritching my lines. And the thing is like, it's harder to be confident with your lines in the short term, but in the long term, it saves you time, right? Like, even though I've been shooting shit and talking and stuff, it's impossible to undo all of this. Therefore, I just made the mark and I did it in the time that I could have done it, right? That I only would have been able to do it in. Digital essentially masks that, which with the allure of undo, and it trains the mindset that I think especially for beginners, I think I've seen advanced and intermediate suffer from this as well, right? And I obviously am very, very particular and enamored and very I guess headstrong, whatever you want to call it, about line confidence and just being confident with your lines and building intent, right? So I think that it for those of you, for the people who understand that digital can create that sort of decision friction, right? For the people who understand that, digital is completely fine for them, right? And I still think digital is an incredible fucking medium, and you can create beautiful colors, and you can create scenes that can never exist in traditional, right? But I do think that people who do digital art need to be very honest and aware of the fact that they should not undo. They just should not undo unless it really requires it. But like when it comes to mark making or line art, they just you should not undo. Or if you can, if it's just so hard for you because it's there, then do as much like just genuinely practice your line work and your line art with can't even speak line work and line art with pen and paper, right? That's what I would. That's my recommendation, right? Um, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Jesus Christ, answers your question. What do you guys think? This looks okay. Looks decent, right? I know this is relatively mechanical. There's a lot more that could have been done here. Maybe. Okay, what could this be? Maybe this could be something, right? It's not gonna be here. It's gonna be here. What could this be? Yeah, what could this be? I already kind of fucked it up because clearly I drew over here. So now we have to be very particular about how we approach this. But what could this be? Because I already drew a really shitty stand, but a stand nonetheless for this extremely heavy apparatus, right? This stand is made out of fucking titanium because I don't know how it's holding that. But the point is I drew a stand. Let's just assume there's a stand on this side and this side as well, right? Yes, you'll still return to the line sooner or later. And yes, I'm a girl. What is that? What are with these weird ass emojis? I've never seen these emojis before, right? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Again, I'm glad you're understanding the importance of line art, and I hope it's inspiring and not intimidating because in my like the beginner artist, please watch this video that I made, right? Like I tried to be very explicit. Like with this pen, I created the worst lines, right? I created the worst lines, hundreds and hundreds of them, right? And just drawing with pen in general, like it made me so confident and it was so difficult. But because I only ever drew with pen, like dude, like after a while, you just get so comfortable with just making marks, and you'll get comfortable with being patient. We're like, okay, what is patience? Patience is just doing something, like doing something in the meantime, I guess, right? That's how Alex Hormozy describes it. I think that's a pretty good definition, right? But doing something in the meantime. So when you're not making a mark, what you're doing in the meantime is you're thinking. And then when you're making the mark, you're thinking while making the mark. And then when you're not making the mark, you're thinking. So it's a beautiful feedback loop that you get trained on. But I want to finish this and then I want to end the stream because I spent most of the stream talking. I have nothing against that. I'm actually okay right now because I'm taking a couple weeks off recording that I'm just drawing. We'll finish this maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, right? But let's think, what can this be, right? What can this be? Even though I've spent a lot of time talking. We can make this, okay, so let's think about the function, right? Think about the function is a really important thing that I'm trying to practice right now. So this heats up, right? This is a fire. This is a meteorite on fire. This is an apparatus which is holding it. Therefore, we must assume the context of this apparatus, this machine, is that it holds things that are on fire. The fact that Crystal Pirate said, hey, draw something that's a fucking meteor on fire has no bearing because my initial assumption for the story that he gave me was maybe they found the meteorite, but clearly not. Clearly they have harnessed the power of this meteorite to provide them with fire, right? So thinking about it like that, this is a machine that harnesses the power of fire. What functions require harnessing the power of fire? Okay, clearly like a mesh, sort of steel mesh net. I didn't even think this was a steel mesh net, but now that I'm looking at it, it makes sense that it is, right? To absorb the heat, sure. Underneath, we have vents. We have vents to dispel the smoke, right? What else do we have? Well, maybe we have buttons. Okay, but I don't want to just fill the space up with nothing, right? Like just nothings, like random nothings is what I'm trying to say, right? So, and by the way, this is the artist process. This is literally what I'm thinking about. If it helps inform you, it informs you, right? But what I'm trying to see is, okay, what can we have here? We can dispel heat. We can contain heat, right? We can have metal, sure, to absorb heat, right? Oh, I forgot to add these little things. Let's just say these cylindrical rods are what are attaching. This is actually, yeah, this is yeah, it's attached to this. There you go, right? That adds a little bit more structure and rigidity to the machine. And what else can we do? What else can we think about? Is this mic still on? I need to get used to fucking checking if this mic is on. Okay, it's on. Okay, what else can we do? What other functions require essentially the control of fire, right? And this is where we get to think and really try to, like, we actually get to think about function, which is very difficult. So we need to dispel heat slash smoke. We need to contain or absorb the heat itself, like the main source via metal, right? We need to ensure that the structure surrounding it is rigid. Oh, actually, this can just, there you go. There you go. Yeah, this can just be the rods that are holding it together. Now, is it the best? No. But I feel as if that type of logic can help a little. Not that it's amazing. I want to be very clear. It's not anything great, but I do feel as if there's merit in trying, right? Same here. And again, like what am I thinking of? I'm thinking about a plane, right? That's following along this little fucking perspective thingy. Okay, and then we'll just leave it at that. Again, like it's very, very, very unequal, uneven, shoddy, right? Like a melody. But okay, whatever. Bolts making it more rigid. Now, what other things? Perhaps ash. Ah, there you go. The ash dispeller, because this will inevitably collect. Well, this is a meteorite, but let's just say there's also dude, it's fucking 8:30. What the fuck? When did I start streaming? 7? No, I started at 6. I've been doing this for 2 hours. I haven't drawn shit. I do apologize for anybody who actually came for drawing. I clearly have not given you the content that you came for, right? I'm just trying to find a way to make it look like it's blending in here. Blending in here, voice crack. But yo, oh, by the way, let's see how many subscribers I have right now, because I know that video has been doing really good for me. So let's I'm just gonna take a pause. Let me wiggle my fingers so you're all entertained. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Whatever. 879 subscribers. Holy shit! I gained 6 since the start of this video or this stream. Oh, and I hit 2,000 views on the. This is a video for beginner artists. You are not alone. Wonderful. I'm glad that is reaching people. I'm happy. I'm happy that people are. At the very least, I genuinely hope I've demystified the learning journey, right? I hope or not even the learning journey, but I hope I've actually made it very clear that the work is the type of work that's done, what type of work you're capable of. Anyways, okay, so let's say there's an ash dispeller. So we can do something like, okay, well, because obviously I want to do something like this as well to ground the perspective, right? Because this is obviously in perspective. There you go. This line right here and right there. Do I know what this is going to be yet? No. No, I have no idea what this is going to be yet. Oh, by the way, I just took in Razor. She said she's a girl, right? What is it that women find interesting about my content? And I'm purely asking because my metrics are 92% male and fucking like 18% women, or no, 8% women. So apart from my girlfriend, I'm curious as to what about my content is entertaining. Because my humor is very stereotypically male, I guess, right? I'm not like, because most art channels that women go to, or like that women make, are like very, very, very sweet, right? They're very sweet. They're like, oh my god, today we're gonna draw along. And they're like, whoop de doop de doop de doop de. We're all best friends and shit, right? They're very. That's like a very nice, wholesome community. So I'm shocked that that women are actually on this channel or like observing or whatever the fuck, enjoying it, because usually you guys like a lot nicer things, right? Not this fucking queerosity, for lack of a better word, right? Okay, so that is what I'm gonna do, and then okay, so if it's collecting ash, right? If it's collecting ash, we need something that siphons the ash. So we need to siphon. So we need to do something like this. Now, there's already a lot of functionality that I didn't get to imply based on this functionality, but at the very least, we can try to make up for it. And I'm actually just interested in your approach, and I respect it. No, my first place is gone. Oh no, it's back. Oh, I appreciate that. So it has nothing to do with my hilarious personality or my sense of humor or the fact that I'm extremely handsome. But just the what the channel is about, which is the art progress. You fucking hate. I hate all of you, pieces of shits. So sad. Just actually just interested in my process and respects me. Disgusting. Okay. Uh, we'll draw one more, right? One more to, and this is where perspective and foreshortening comes into play, because again, we're just going to make it slightly bigger. Kind of works out because it feels like maybe these things could also be vents that release the whatever material is gathered. I guess this is just like a material gatherer, right? Not an ash gatherer, and specifically, right? But the question is, or like the reality is the fact that I don't know what an ash gatherer looks like. So I'm actually creating something. I'm actually creating something, in terms of just like something that doesn't make sense, I guess, like something that just exists. But let's make it so it's actually going through here or something. There's like a little ellipse, right? There's a hole that it goes through. And what else? What else can we do? Well, maybe we can multiple around this. And maybe not only can I multiple around this, maybe I could, there you go. Oh, by the way, doing that little diagonal is also really difficult to do. I know I'm going on a bunch of different topics and tangents. The ash gatherers look like roots. You could expand on that. Dude, you see way more than I do. What the fuck? I don't see half the shit that you talk about. Why aren't you drawing this? See, this is the thing. Like, I don't have the mind of, I don't have the talent for a creative mind, but I can just try to learn it as much as I can, right? But, oh yeah, one thing I just want to talk about is the fact that, like, to reiterate that everything is a skill, right? When the past 6 months, or like from February or like April, March, let's just say April, May to around September, this was like the big skill I was focused on, which is diagonals in a plane, like being able to draw that, right? Because being able to draw this is one thing, but then being able to draw this is another thing, like accurately in perspective. Because what that implies is that you can see these, right? You can visualize these. What that implies is that you can calculate this, that you can calculate this, right? Like it implies that you are literally seeing. And right now, when I did it there, I did it off intuition, but I spent months calculating it. And here's another thing. This can be one-dimensional or it can be two-dimensional, right? Like this could actually be something that's diagonaling out from one plane like this and another plane like that, right? And then, let's say it's just like whatever. We have some shit here. But I just want to say that that is also a skill. Being able to just do a diagonal. That is also a very difficult skill. There's still calculation. Jesus Christ. Look at this, beat the shit out of the paper. Those are also things there. Okay. It's funny because I design stuff with other artists and they still don't see what the hell I see. I think I'm just an anomaly. Well, you should be grateful that you have this ability to see things. Like my girlfriend, she has yeah, she has like she sees color so much brighter. Like the way she sees the world is through much more wonderment than I ever have and most likely ever will. Right. So when she paints, she's really good at painting in terms of like she just is so good at choosing colors and like making things look vibrant and pretty. Right. That's her talent, like quote unquote talent, which is just an affinity towards noticing more things. Right. Everybody has affinities towards everything. Every single one of us have affinities towards one thing or another. Right. But anyways, Crystal says also it's 2025. We got a lot of variety, so expect some women to enjoy your content. Absolutely not. I'm putting a ban on women. That entire gender is being disqualified from this planet. Okay, not on my watch. Not on this planet. Hashtag not my planet. Hashtag not my planet. I'm funny. I'm really funny. Let's just give them this the shape, shape, Severus shape, Dumbledore. Who remembers that? I wonder how many people are actually over the age of 25 here. Okay, that's not bad. It's pretty decent. Right, I guess the best way to explain it, it's more of an abstract description. I can clearly see it's more like a shower head. But in mechanical terms, it resembles what I think roots would look like for such things. Interesting. Um, well, this is actually like the leg for this. It's not supposed to be part of the root. But that's where scope and scale and not understanding things, right? In my applicability comes into play. But okay. Let's just do something like this. When in doubt, just literally just add a cylinder. That's my go-to. When in doubt, just add a fucking cylinder. Okay, it collects the ashes here, and then let's just say it expunges them, right? Expunges them like so. Let's do that. There you go, something like that. And this can also be a screw. And Ron Weasley, this fucking guy. You were probably here the whole time, and you only come on now to do the Harry Potter reference. Respect. Potter Puppet Pals. It's fun to not be good at the fundamentals, in my opinion, because you can improvise and make up new ideas. I agree. It's always fun to try things, right? Tobira Masenju. Tobira Masenju. Tobira Masenju? What the fuck? That sounds Tamil and Japanese. I'm so confused. That sounds like literally a Japanese South Indian name. Tobira Masenju. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Okay. And we can maybe do something like this. Right. Is the page back? Okay. Hey, that's the Naruto character. Oh shit! Yeah, Tobi. Is that? Wait, no, is it? It's Tobi Rama Senju. Yeah, I pronounced it correctly. Fuck you. It's okay. Don't need to fucking explain it to me. How dare you? I'm perfect at everything. But and then there you go. Oh wait, fuck. Yeah, see, I wasn't thinking there, so I made a mistake. And what can we do? Because clearly I still don't understand scope and perspective. But, well, let's just do a little bit of this. I'm gonna obviously have not too many of these little thingies here, because I don't want to crowd the image, so I think that's fine. Something like that. Right. Okay, cool. All right, and I don't know what I want this shape to be. This one right here. I don't know what I want it to be. Because I don't know what it I don't know what it is. I'm a man. I have a deep voice. I don't know what it is. I should eat soon. I haven't fucking eaten. But if it's an ash dispeller, we will just have this actually. We could just do this. Okay, this will be interesting and difficult. So it's the perfect mix of challenge, right? Something like that. Now, I already made a mistake because I shouldn't have drawn this line, but I really should learn traditional because I heard your points earlier about digital being a bit unconstructive for beginners with the elusive undo button. No, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing is like all the people I look up to, which are excellent draftsmen, right? Every single one of them have confident lines, and they consistently keep trying to practice more and more confident lines, right? So we have to think about it logically in the sense that okay, if this thing, which is not even like a big if, it's just true, right? But like if this thing is not conducive towards my line quality, then it's probably best that I hold up that I refrain from doing it when it comes to learning or practicing line quality, right? It's not really a knock on the fact that, oh, okay, you shouldn't ever fucking practice in one way or another, but it's just about being honest with yourself. And that's what I always keep saying is like we just got to be honest with ourselves. Be like, is this thing conducive to the growth, right? Even if the answer is uncomfortable, even if the answer is a very uncomfortable or resounding yes, this is not helping you, right? Even if that's the case, we have to accept that. Now, see, I have to accept that I fucked that up. I have to accept that I 100% fucked that up. I didn't see, I wasn't thinking. Again, I'm really, today I want to be very clear. I really haven't been thinking about my lines at all. Like, at all, I haven't been thinking. Like that, I just, look at that, I fucked that up too. I literally put that in the wrong direction. Oh, Jesus Christ. See? But it's fine. It's Gucci. Gucci in the Poochie, as they say. Or at least as I've said just now. Right? It's it's kind of just, you just have to let it be. You can't really do anything about it. See you, Viggy. Have a good night. You have a good night as well, Evan. Enjoy. By the way, I only knew that fire on the meteor, that was fire on the meteor, because it reminded me of this guy from a game called Limpus Company with a clock on fire for a head. Legit same art style. That's interesting and very cool. And I appreciate that. Right? So that's cool. But, okay. You know what? We're just going to do this. Because I feel as if there's not enough separation between these things. Okay. So I fucked that up. I fucked all of this up. I fucked this up, and I fucked this up. And yet, this looks okay. It looks relatively believable, right? It all looks relatively believable, which is what we want for the time being. We want believability. Of course, I wanted to create something interesting. Of course, I did, but I don't have the ability, and my mind isn't working. Blah 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 blah. Like drawing this big. Like there's a lot of skills I'm lacking. But the main thing I'm proud of myself for is the fact that I tried, right? And you know what? We should probably make this. Yeah, we should probably have this attached like so. There you go. So this is attached, right? And then we can have grill marks here as well, right? There you go. And there you go. Now it's attached to this. Okay, I think I'm good for today. Describing the picture though, forms legit an awesome story. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, you helped. You helped. Like you this is what I like about streaming and fan interaction is like a lot of every so often now and then, right? Even with all the mistakes I make and shit, like and I say even with all the mistakes because obviously I still have that little bit of lingo that associate mistakes being an unwanted thing. But yeah, with the mistakes I made, that it turned into this, and it's because I like the fan interaction that fans help create the story. So, and it's just weird to me to say the word fans because I'm just a fucking normal person. But you know, like, everybody likes me, haha, right? But I think I'm done for today. I'll give you guys and girls, because apparently there's women here now, haha, right? We're all about that diversity, DEI, except for when it comes to hiring. But yeah, I'll leave it here for like 2 minutes while I just, I guess, finish up whatever I have to say in my talks. But how do you guys like it? How do you guys like it? I know there's a few things here. There's always a bunch of things I could use work, right? For example, I completely just said fuck the tree and I haven't touched that. I still haven't drawn his right leg, right? So, and there's a few things that could use a bit of grounding. This doesn't even make sense anymore because this just looks like it could be attached to this, but. Alright, thanks, man. I've been a favorite for a few streamers. My ego knows no bounds. Yeah, I know you suck Broken Draw's dick too, so it's fucking slurping all around, bro. I appreciate it. It takes a lot of work. It genuinely takes a lot of work to to have that much cum on your mouth, right? I'm speak from experience. It's very sticky, but let's see. Yeah, I think like whatever this is, I'm okay with it. A lot of things don't make sense, so I know next time I just need to really focus on scale and where things stand, obviously, right? If anything, I could just make this part of this. Let's just say this fucking stuff they carry also ends up carrying this bag because it's a multi-purpose stuff, right? And we'll just have it connect like that. There you go. You see? This stuff, this thing literally exists for the purpose of this fucking stick. There you go. So now it's inside. Such a fucking stupid contraption. But Razor Try said, thanks for the stream. Yeah, I think it works as a good start, but that tree has veins, bro. I can't look at it, man. Well, fucking don't look at it then. Who's asking you to, huh? Did I ask you to? I'm gonna write your name right here, so you'll always have to look at it, you piece of shit. But it's, yeah, dude, the veins were a horrible decision. I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. So we're just gonna have to leave it like that, and that's the mistake we live with, right? It's all good. It's just what it is. But what's it called? Yeah, Razorichi says, thanks for the stream with the penguin crying emoji that's waving. That's such a fucking specific type of, what a specific emoji, a penguin crying and waving, right? But yeah, you're welcome. I hope it was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you drew along, right? But a medieval setting that's harnessing the power of a meteor that was found by a weird ass looking traveler that may as well be a wizard. Yeah, I guess, right? Let's just say he's a wizard too. I didn't even give him a staff. Well, there actually, never mind. I did. There's a staff. That's a staff right there. But now, honestly, like to truly establish scale, I think I just have to keep a lot of things here clean and minimal, apart from obviously his body, and just like the background just needs to really establish. The background should establish that it's like a very large area. That's what I'd like to do. I like to practice that, right? But we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how it goes. Right, sounds pretty cool to me. It does sound pretty cool. Thank you, Crystal, as always, fucking saving my drawings. At least with the explanation of why things are the way they are. When my answer is, I don't know, I just tried. I just tried to do something and I failed 90% of the time. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. For the 9 people watching, oh fuck, I didn't hit my camera. Shit. Dude, like, did it? I have to wait because the stream has a lag. But okay, whatever. Anyways, 9 people watching. That's 10 times more than usually people watching. So I guess that's because of the video that came out, right? So yeah, welcome to my channel, right? Watch me become great, demystifying the process to greatness, an art progress channel, blah blah blah, right? Fundamental. Anybody can draw all that good shit. But with the razor sheets, actually useful now. I need. Okay, sorry. At this point, I'm stealing this idea from my game. Go ahead. Yeah, it's Razory says it's useful now that I understand that I need years of practice to draw my anime girls. And I don't know what the fuck that emoji is, but it's kind of cute, I guess. Crystal Fire says, hey. Okay. Yeah, and I'm glad, and I'm really, really happy that you didn't associate any negative connotations with the words years of practice, right? It's just a beginner thing. It's just I'm new to learning something thing. Like, it's not particular to you or anybody else, right? It happens to me as well, but happened to me as well, but the word years of practice should actually be encouraging, because that means, what it basically means is just given enough time and effort, anybody can achieve anything, right? Granted that they have, like, you know, their hands, their body, their mind works, right? And what they're doing requires that to work, whatever, right? But the point being, it's really just inspiring, right? Because do we know anyone who we consider to be masterful in their craft that achieved it in less than 6 months, less than 2 years, less than 3 years, less than 5 years, right? And if they did, 9 out of 10 times when we dive deep into their, like, what they did, the shorter the time span and the greater the skill, the greater the amount of time and effort spent on that skill. So I probably could have achieved this in half the time, but I would have to have drawn for 3 times as long, right? I would have to have done 3 hours a day rather than 1 hour a day, 7 days a week rather than 5 days a week, right? And who knows if that was actually, that would have been conducive, who knows, right? But there are people who've done it. And yeah, like, you have to also look at the fact that, okay, my 3 years could be somebody else's 1 year, right? There are people who draw for 4 hours a day, and there's 100%, at least a few 100,000 people out there who practice like me with, like, only fundamentals, or vast majority being fundamentals, and they are exponentially better than me. But then you have to think about it, like, okay, if my 3 years is their 1 year, that means like that's completely different, right? That means my 1 year was their 3 years, right? So that means they've been drawing for 3 times as long as I have, right? That's the way you got to think about it. So I was gonna say Toby Fox, and then I remembered the Earthbound Halloween hack. I don't know what you're talking about anymore, but I'm glad you're having fun and you're reminiscing on things that you like talking about. But yeah, Rosary Chi. That's just, chi is literally like a word in Tamil that it's like to express disgust. So I hope you know where you stand. But yeah, I'm really, really happy, and I'm very grateful and glad that you understand that it takes years of practice, and that is a good thing, because that means it takes anybody years of practice, right? And I hope to the best of your ability, you constantly do your best to enjoy the effort, right? Make lots of mistakes, and analyze why those mistakes are mistakes, right? And then put 50 to 100 more reps in into making them slightly better, just to the best of your ability, right? And just attach good feelings to your mistakes. And yeah, regurgitating the same points. But yeah, I'm really, really glad to hear that. I'm very grateful that if there's one thing my video has, anything that I've done has done for any of you, it's the fact that we can enjoy learning because learning is genuinely beautiful, right? So inspiration, inspiration. He was answering your question. What the fuck? What question was I even asking? I don't know anymore. uh, yeah, okay. Well, please stream again so I can be an encouraging schizophrenic asshole. Well, you can be an asshole without being encouraging, right? But the schizophrenia, I don't know about that, bro. You should probably write it down and multiple pages and multiple lines in multiple directions until I understand it, right? But on that note, I have no idea what I'm saying. I was trying to make a funny joke, but I don't even think that was a joke. And if anything, Crystal Pirate might just be confused and or offended. Hopefully both, as well as aroused. So I'm done for now. This was pretty interesting. I didn't think this would go this way. It's pretty cool, but I think the big challenge for tomorrow when I draw and onwards will be, okay, we've set little precedents. I think honestly everything here should just be grass, right? Like we just want it to be grass. Like we'll have big grass, small grass, whatever. We'll draw his leg. We'll make sure his arm is doing something, right? And then after that it's just like, okay, like how do we ground this and make this what's in front of us and then scale things back? Because I've already done a decent job with scale here, right? Like I feel as if this already, like this is really, really in front. These are slightly back because yeah, they're like a little bit back, right? I managed to not bastardize this by putting it inside this, but we got to figure out scale and what other designs and things we'd like to do. So of course, time, practice, and thinking. I'll be completely honest, I was not thinking much this session. Really, at most, 30%. Like really, really at most, 30%, right? So drawing is thinking, right? I wasn't thinking that much, so that's why I struggled as much as I did. But if I was thinking a lot more, I would have been a lot quieter. This particular stream, I was very okay because people are asking questions, and I genuinely appreciate that. But maybe in future streams, I won't be as talkative, or maybe I should just accept that when I'm streaming, I just have to build the skill of explaining and talking while thinking. Actually, that is it. If I keep saying I want to do the hard things, from now on, to the best of my ability, I'm going to spatially reason as much as I possibly can and think about everything as much as I possibly can while answering your questions and talking, right? So yeah, there it is. Now that's just another extremely difficult skill that I can look forward to learning. Wonderful. Thank you very much, chat. Right, I have to refer to you guys as chat at one point because I will be huge. I will be having hundreds and millions of people talking to me at the same time. So not yet. Not until now. Until then, you guys are individual names. But Rosary Chi says, of course, that will always be true. Practice and only practice. Exactly. Practice, errors, enjoyment, right, and effort. You know, and 12 inches. Let's not forget that. But yeah. Practice is really just, the volume you put in is the great equalizer. But that's why we train ourselves to enjoy the volume, right? There's no point in doing something if we don't train ourselves to enjoy the difficult parts of it, right? Because it translates over to other things. Let's see. Crystal Pirate says, all three and confused. Good. Glad. Great. And then Rosary Chi says again, but your approach motivated me. It's nice to see people working so hard. I appreciate it. Yeah, and again, I trained myself to work this hard, right? Like it's all skills, right? If there's one thing I want anybody to internalize is everything is a skill to the utmost, right? Like as much as something can be a skill, it is a skill, right? Base talent / baseline ability is an affinity that is an affinity or a genetic predisposition that some people are born with 20% more or less, right? Let's just say on average, because we're talking about average people, we're all average here, below average, above average, whatever. We're all on the bell curve, but we're all relatively average, right? Okay, so we're all born with things we're slightly better at and slightly worse at, that we have genetically, we have an affinity or predisposition towards, slightly, right? Some people a little bit more, some people a little bit less. But even all of those affinities are purely things that can be trained. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. As long as you believe it, you practice it with intent, and then you work for years at it, it will become true, right? Because you will make it a reality. And yeah, the hashtag Biggie Inspires. I don't know. I don't want to keep saying hashtag Biggie Inspires every time I say something that I feel is compelling. But at the same time, I guess I've fucked myself over in that, where it just that became a habit. That's a habit we need to break now, right? But and then Rosary, she's saying good night, everybody. So good night. Yeah, have a good night. Crystal says, I think while streaming, maybe we can have some quiet sessions. Anyway, have a good night, Mr. Vodka. Okay, everybody's gonna sleep. Yeah, have a good night, Crystal. Good night. Right, Rizushi says again, good night, Crystal Pirate and Viggy and Silent Ones, right? Okay, wonderful. So everybody's fucked off. The people who were conversing with me have fucked off. And if we look at the views, 6 watching now. So the quiet people, I guess, are just here. So all you quiet people, I hope, again, Main thing is just keep working hard. Work on the right things. Remember, there are right things to work on. You have to be very objective and just internalize that there are right things to work on. It's not just one thing. It's a wide range of things. But as a beginner, line form and perspective, right? Line form and perspective. Allow yourself, obviously, you do not have to be like me, but if you are like me, fucking go off and be buck wild, right? Just like I did. But if you're not like me, allow yourself to apply as well with reference drawings, just like I did in my intro video. You see, sparingly I applied. I'm like, oh shit, it's actually working. But with that being said, goddamn, you got a goofy ass laugh, and you know that, yeah, the fucking gorsh, right? I like my laugh. Fuck you, bro. It's a nice, shrill, piercing, fucking ball rescinding laugh, right? It makes everybody who hears it uncomfortable. That makes me proud. But let me just end the stream. But yeah, goodbye, everyone. Silent ones, non-silent ones, everybody, I appreciate you, right? As always, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please, give me money. Can't forget to do my